Welcome everybody. Welcome to today's stream. Good morning. Beard and Rock, welcome. Hope you all had a nice day and hopefully good night wherever you are. And let's have some fun today and play some Guild Wars. And today it's a little bit of a special stream in multiple ways. So let's get right into it. So welcome. So I have two things that I really want to do today, and hopefully you will enjoy them as well. So the first thing is, of course, you might have seen it in the title. I have currently a giveaway going on my YouTube channel. So if you want to join that, because it is quite a big one, I would say, you can win a legendary weapon. So if you want to join that, just type !giveaway in the Twitch chat, or if you're on YouTube, just scroll down in the description. There's the link to the video how to participate. That's really nice. It's ongoing for another couple of days, so be sure to join that. Other than that, I will also give away multiple gems, as you can see here on the screen as well. I will give away multiple times gems during the stream for Twitch, but I will also do it for YouTube. So just stay tuned for that. Will happen anytime. And yeah, that's the first part. Celebrating 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's the big celebration stream today. So what do we have here? Is it a support? It's not a support. Let's play some support then. Let's play some support. I really wanted to try support Paragon. Exactly. So if you want to join the giveaway on Twitch, the gem giveaway, you can type !enter in the Twitch chat and you will be able to enter. In a second. Yeah, that's how it works. And of course, as you might also have read in the stream title, I want to look at my characters, not all of them of course, but some of them, and want to give them a better look, because I really feel like that I have a lot of skins and people always say, what the are you doing? You have so many skins and your characters look so default. Let's leave it like that. I want to improve that. I'm really bad at it, so hopefully you can help me out there. Those two things is the main purpose of today's stream. So welcome everybody. So let's play some support. We have a core elementalist that's already quite promising. So looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Machivara. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the support. 3 months already. Nice. Welcome, Vishnu. Welcome. How are you all doing today? Big giveaway and fashion stream today. So, oh my god, there are 4 people here and we're only 2? What? That's not that good. And I lost my block. That's also very sad. Losing the block here is quite painful, I have to be honest. Be careful with the pull. Okay, they already are pretty damaged. It's crazy, but how 5 people here, not bad. We did not lose anybody yet. That's impressive. We could use the banner here, but I think we will be fine without it either way. Provide some healing. That was a very nasty stun. That's fine. We get the cleanse. Get the barrier, please. There we go. And get the banner. Maybe we get the banner. There we go. Just to be safe. And that looks good. Welcome. Speaking of fashion, I'm unreasonably excited for the fashion templates coming soon. Yeah, I am excited as well, so I want to set up at least a little bit of fashion on my characters. That's the whole reason for today's stream. But yes, you are correct. I think this is a very exciting thing for a lot of players, and even for me it's nice. And I think it's depends a bit on how well it is implemented, I have to be honest. You know, if the fashion templates are you get 2 for free and you have on every single character 2, I think that's nice. But if you have to purchase them exactly like the equipment templates and the build templates, and you have just a couple of them on each character, I think that can be a bit painful. If that's just really you have to purchase on every single character, I think that can be painful. But that's exactly what I expect. I don't see it to be account-wide or something. But who knows? Maybe they are very generous and they do it account-wide as well. Oh, okay. That was nasty. But yeah, I'm excited for the fashion templates nonetheless. We will also hopefully get some news ahead of time. I don't know. You know, the thing is, you never know. Sometimes we get just some random updates. Sometimes we don't. Oh my god. At least I have a stun break here also for my allies. That's so good. They have CC immunity. That's not good. Get the kill here. There we go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. I think the core feature update for me is probably the second most anticipated update this year for me in Guild Wars speaking. There will be the update with the fractal and the raid and the convergence. I think that one is a bit more exciting just because it has more content. But in terms of like quality of life, I'm really looking forward to the update that we get currently coming in February. Count-wide in today's economy? Yeah, I think it's quite unlikely. Some people are coping on that. I think it's quite unlikely. I think, to be honest, if there are like 2 for free for every character, I think that is the best we can hope for. But who knows? Who knows? Sometimes ArenaNet surprises us. I did not expect a free legendary glove for people either, and we got it. So, CC, no. They got the rally, and I almost had the banner ready. Almost. That's so sad. What can you do? Yeah, I think, to be honest, realistically, my prediction would be we get 2 for every single character, just baseline. And then for every single character, if you want more than 2, you have to unlock them with gems, probably maybe 300 to 500 gems or something. That seems to be the most realistic way, I would say, to have a middle ground between like free to play and also giving you a bit more value if you really want to get more of them. Yeah. I really just hope it's not like the build storage and we get 3 for our whole account. Yeah, I think that would be really weird because, some of the skins you couldn't even use on all of your characters. So why would you put them in the storage? I mean, that's the same for the build templates, for the build storage. I think that is still weird to me that you can put a Mesmer template in there and then you go to your Elementalist and you cannot use it. So I hope that's not the case because for fashion template, it would be exactly the same. You could equip a medium armor skin there and put it in the fashion storage, and it would again not be able to be used on like some other characters that are not heavy armor class or medium or the same armor class. So I don't know. Welcome, Neptunes. Welcome. I'm doing great. We have some giveaway going on the Twitch chat. ! enter to enter the gems giveaway. 400 gems. I will pull it in 20 minutes or so. Half an hour. And we also have the big legendary giveaway going on my YouTube channel, so be sure to enter that if you haven't already. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's really just some UI issues, but I to be honest, I don't see that the equipment template and the build templates are UI related. I personally would say that's just like they wanted to market it this way. If they wanted to give us more for free or make it better, they could have done that. Like, I'm really surprised that they did it like that, but I think that's their decision. It's not like the UI is the problem behind this specific thing. In general, I would agree the UI of Guild Wars 2 is often limiting. It's actually crazy. How am I against 2 people here and I just take barely any damage? Okay, I take that. Just hope my team gets here at some point. Yes, if you type ! enter in the Twitch chat, you are already in. It just doesn't give you a reply. I didn't want to get the chat spammed with some bot messages, but yeah, that's how it should be. I'm just looking forward to the patch, I have to be honest. We don't use the banner here. There we go, looks good. I mean, that's a rather clean, 2-node win, I would say. Rather clean. I mean, the weirdness of implementation, yeah, I agree. I think that to be honest, I never got the whole point of having those build storage expansions, but that it's implemented in a way that they have it here on top and that you have those equipment templates on top and they are limited to 9. I have to be honest, that's UI limitation, I'm pretty sure. Because from a marketing standpoint, players like me that like to play a lot of different builds, I have to be honest, I wouldn't stop at 9. Why not make it infinite equipment templates? What's the reason for saying we only can have 9 of them? Why not more? Just saying, I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but I'm saying why is that the case? Why did they stop there? They could have made more money by just increasing them unlimited, not just making a bit more than 9. And we will see that with fashion templates as well. I think a lot of people have a lot of different fashion. So if there are only a cap of a couple of them, I think people would not be that happy, to say the least. So I guess they really should monetize it or make it very, very like open, and you can get a lot of them, because it's really like the monetization is okay if it's fair. If it's not fair and we get like just a couple of them and you still have to buy them, that's not good. That's not good. If there are infinite amount of fashion templates you can purchase, I guess then it's completely fine. They get the decap. That's not good. Welcome, Chichi, Ram. Welcome, welcome. Realistically, it just be like the templates, as the space on top of the hero panel is empty in the wardrobe section. Hopefully 2 per character. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the most realistic like prediction. I'm not saying that's 100% true, because you never know with ArenaNet. Sometimes they have some crazy changes. You never know, really. I wouldn't like exclude anything, but I agree. The most likely scenario is, oh, that was a nasty pull, is that we just get like this exact setup here for equipment templates here in the wardrobe section, exactly like that. And I don't know what actually will all be included, like armor skins, weapon skins, trinkets, and of course like I think maybe even the gathering twist, but I'm not sure if infusions will be included and how that will work. So looking forward to that either way. Yeah. There we go. We will see. We will see. There we go. That was a nice one. That was a nice one. Quite relaxing. So let's get it sold here. Thank you very much, Boskovsky. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the tier 1. Hope you have a good stream. What do you think about Gale Shot in the current PvP meta? I think Gale Shot is actually underrated. I think Gale Shot is surprisingly good. It's not an easy build to play, so if you are like new to the game, I think Gale Shot is very punishing, but the amount of damage that you can do from rather safe distance, so just range, is like quite good. So I don't know. I feel like that is what is going on. Why did I get an invite? Interesting. But yeah, I personally think it's like, I don't know. Gale Shot, I would recommend it to people that like to be aggressive and want to carry fights by being the DPS. The problem is, if you get to higher rating, you will definitely notice that. One second. You will definitely notice that people see a Gale Shot and instantly engage on it. And that's a problem, because a lot of times you, as a new player, might get just overwhelmed with this. But if you know what you're doing and can survive on a Gale Shot, it's quite good. It's probably one of the best DPS options with Evoker and maybe some Luminary and Conduit. But like burst damage, I think like Evoker, Gale Shot, yeah, pretty good right now. Yeah. Isn't there a Blishart module that could replace this template? I think there is, but at least we saw that with equipment templates. When equipment templates come out, I don't know if you remember or if you even were playing the game back then, but when equipment templates came out, we had back then the option of arc DPS, yeah, so the DPS meter for PvE that is able to store your equipment and your builds. Back then that was the case. And that was not completely like legal or not completely illegal to say. It was just an option, and it was, so to say, gray zone. And back then ArenaNet specifically said, when the equipment templates came out, instantly remove this feature from Arc, and then we will allow Arc continued. Yeah, it will continue to be allowed. And I think that will be the same for Blishart. As soon as we get an official implementation of a feature that a Blishart module has, for example, the equipment or fashion templates rather, then that will be instantly be removed, or you will get banned for using it. I'm pretty sure they will do that, because they want to force you to use the in-game systems, so that you're not, so to say, circumventing their monetization if there is any. And I think that makes sense. Yeah. Really play Revenant Warrior, but aside from the outside Gale Shot, seemed like the most well-designed new spec, a really cool concept. Yeah, I think Gale Shot is really fun. I think it's clear design, clear role, what it wants to be, and it does its job very well. So and it's a fun like rotation and fluid and stuff. I like it. I really agree. So if you are like looking at Ranger and didn't play it before, I think Gale Shot is a really good option for that one. Yeah. Have you ever encountered a single soul playing Condi Druid PvE? I actually had it like twice in pack groups. I had it once in a group that had specifically in fractal groups in a Condi challenge mode. I had a Condi Druid, and it was actually top DPS. But the thing is, you have to be like really good at Druid to make that work, because it's not something that like comes on its own, so to say. Yeah. But that's just my impression. I think Condi Druid is a rather rare case, and yeah. The build templates are still allowed, right, with Blish? So I think with Blish, with the build templates, they are allowed because you can share build templates anyway. You know, build templates is something that you can just copy and paste. You know, it's not something that is like locked in the game. But if you would have a system that could like increase, for example, your just like equipment templates to like 500, and you could just like have another button here that is just like infinitely expands, that would instantly be, so to say, negative for ArenaNet's like equipment template sales, so to say. So they definitely don't want that. For the builds, it's a little bit less so, because for builds you can just say copy and paste, and you could make a text document anyway, and that's exactly the same that Blish does. It's just like a, so to say, a text document for your on screen, so to say. That's it. So that's somewhat okay, I would say. But for the equipment templates, definitely not. Use anything, if that even exists at this point, that saves your loadout. I know back then ArcDPS even had, that's the funny thing, ArcDPS even had some issues. Sometimes it just deleted random gear, just didn't exist anymore. So it means that you had an Ascended gear piece, and that then you swapped your Ascended gear via the ArcDPS add-on, and it just deleted it. So it was used at your own risk. That was a bit like, I did never use it because of that, because that feels painful. Being like very, so to say, optimized, and then suddenly you don't have your gear anymore. It's a bit painful. But yeah. Yeah, welcome Swordsinger, welcome. Is there any other content in the Fractal Rush event other than the achievements and the underwhelming vendor? No, that's why I didn't make a video about it. The Fractal bonus event, Fractal Rush one, is rather, I wouldn't say bad, but I would say if you're a veteran or somewhat like experienced player that played the game a bit and had like some experience with Fractals already, then this Fractal Rush event is rather weak. Why is that? Because it just provides you with stuff that you get anyway. There is nothing in there that is like really like good. Maybe this here for the plus 10 Agony infusions, but that's about it. So for new player, don't get me wrong, this Fractal Rush event is awesome because you just get more loot for playing Fractals, and quite a bit of more loot, I would say. The thing is, for veteran that plays Fractals anyway or did it before already, you don't get anything special. So it's quite underwhelming in that regard. In comparison to that though, we have the upcoming, I think on the 20th, so on Tuesday, coming up on Tuesday, I think. Yeah, I think that's on Tuesday. We get the World vs. World Rush. And the World vs. World Rush is awesome because you just get more loot. You get the same amount of pips, but you get way faster progress of reward track, and you get more World vs. World experience for playing the same game mode. And you get some tickets on top of that. It's just like, it's like night and day. The Fractal Rush is good for new players, and that's it. For most players that play the game a long time or just a decent amount of time, it's not that worth it. But for almost everybody, the reward track gain and the World vs. World experience gain is just awesome. Like 50% more, that's crazy. You can like complete it in under 4 hours, one track. It's crazy, it's really good. The World vs. World event is definitely one of the best rushes that we can do, for sure. For sure, or that we at least get this time around, yeah. Welcome, Mappa Wife, welcome. The recent one on the daily wikis is great, and I really do also prefer the move to a weekly system. Yeah, I think that was a really important topic to me to debate about dailies, that there are so many dailies and things, and also a lot of weeklies in the game, and they are not even like as easy to find as the dailies for like Fractals and stuff. So I think it would be nice to have a better UI in that regard, or just easier task manager, or combine them or whatever. But yeah, that was a topic that was close to my heart for sure. Being putting off getting more Gift of Battles until the event starts? Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to get Gift of Battle, that's probably the best time if you don't enjoy World vs. World in the beginning. Yeah, absolutely. it will last 7 days. Those rush events are always exactly 1 week. So from Tuesday to Tuesday. Do you have a guide or build for newbies on World vs. World? Yes, I do. It's on my website. You can go to my website and you will find it there. But in general, everything that you want to look for is hopefully on my YouTube channel. If it's not, just let me know. And the website is always linked in the description of the streams. Returning player after 5 years, fell in love with Dragon stats on power content, got 2 legendaries too. Quick question, most effective way to get stat infusions. So it depends a bit what you mean with effective. The fastest way, so that would be also very effective, is purchasing them from the trading post. You can buy infusions from the trading post, and if you then look at the lowest prices, for example, for like stat infusions here, you can get for 36 gold, you can get, or even less if you pre-order it, can get condition damage and agony infusions. That's very cheap. You can also get ghostly infusions from, for example, raids. That's also easy. And if you are not interested in playing fractals, because those infusions give you stats and they give you +9 agony resistance. So if you are interested in fractals, that's the must go-to option because you want to use those. You can also go to your fractal lobby. Let me showcase this, give me a second. Can go to your fractal lobby and can then go to the vendor that gives you the fractal stuff. So either go into fractals or just here have the mistlog pass. And one of those vendors, I don't even know which one, can give you, or gives you for exchange. One of those gives me the infusions, not this guy, maybe this guy. Let's see how often I do that. Not that often. Okay, it's this guy. Yeah, here. You can purchase the +9 infusions for fractal stuff. So if you play a lot of fractals, you can do that as well. That's the option that is, so to say, my preferred way, because you can get them quite easily by just playing fractals. But they're always somewhat expensive. And the last way, that is the recommended way for players that don't play fractals at all, I can also show this, you purchase World vs. World infusions. Why is that? Because World vs. World infusions don't give you agony resistance, but they are like way cheaper, like 10 times cheaper or something. It's awesome if you are just in for the stats. So definitely get that. Yeah. So let's showcase this here. But yeah, if you're on Twitch and if you want to enter the gems giveaway that I will pull in a couple of minutes, be sure to type !enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win, and subscribers get 5 times the luck. So you go to the vendor. Where is this guy? You know, it's always like, no, it's not on this side. Where is this guy? I think it's this guy here. Does the Laurel merchant have it? Let's check. There, exactly. So you can purchase it here for some Loris and some badges of honor. So that's extremely cheap. And you get like the power, condition damage, and precision, and whatever you want. They don't have every single stat here. Or I think they might actually have every single stat here, but it's obviously so cheap, it's worth it if you don't play fractals. You know, the +1% damage to guards, lords, and supervisors, or the -% damage is not worth it, of course. But if you are looking for just getting the stat increase, that's the way to do it. Hopefully that helps. Should you at least do wood reward this week for more pips next week? Exactly. If you want to get the most optimized like setup, definitely get at least 100 pips in this week. So you have like until. So the thing is, the weekly reset happens on Friday for my time, and that means that the reset is already done. So if you don't have completed the wood division last week, then you will not get it until Friday. And then on Friday, if you had it, then you can push hard on it over the weekend. So I will get the wood division unlocked somewhat today or later, the next few days, so that I have it for the next week as well. But in general, yes, you should definitely get it set up so that you have one more pip every single tick. That's definitely paying off in the long run, if you have the time. Any tips for players who will be touching World vs. World for the first time during the rush event? Just get in there, try to have a level 80 character that you are somewhat like comfortable with the class, and maybe look at some guides, what kind of build you would run. But in general, just get in there, try to find a commander like you can see here in the bottom. Try to find someone that is like, or like run around alone like I do, and just get some some camps and stuff like that. Depends what you like to do. If you're like someone that wants to have 50 versus 50 epic battles, then of course find a group with the commander tag and just follow them. Try to have a build that is somewhat helpful, not too selfish or not too useless in a big group, but just get in there. It's world versus world. It's not about being like crazy skilled. It's more about having fun and trying to help your team. That's how I see it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think the world versus world infusions are a very nice way to just increase your stats if you don't play fractals, and it helps. It's just like you get 90 stats or something in total if you have all of them. That's just awesome. It's just a lot of value you get there, and definitely I would say worth the investment if you, that's the important part, if you want to play this character for longer. If you play like a lot of different characters, I think that can be quite expensive in the end. So be a bit careful there. But if you play this character or this build for longer, then it's definitely a worthwhile investment. I have it on a lot of characters, not all of them, but a lot of them. Especially for my DPS characters in Fractals, I have it as well, yes. Have you tried Signet Catalyst in World vs. World after the recent patch? That was my idea to try today, because Catalyst got like pretty hard nerfed. I wanted to look at Staunch Auras, how that works, and the Signet Catalyst overall, how good that is, how bad it is. I wanted to look at it, yeah. So this is the trait that got changed like drastically, and I really want to look at it and see how it goes. So that's the idea of, let's say, some parts of today's stream, yes. Welcome, Snowbleach. Welcome. Just watch the World vs. World video. Thanks. Glad to help. So let's take a look at this and check out how it actually is. But this trait is really interesting. So it's not a complete nerf. Of course, you got stability every time you get an aura before, and now the stability is actually, I think it's like decent, the amount. It's not like horrible. So if I go for like a Signet Catalyst build here, something like that. What is this? No, that's not even Signet Catalyst. Why is it called Signet? I'm baiting myself, but okay. Yeah, so this is like, let's say around 4 seconds maybe if you have some wound duration, if you get stability with Earth Attunement. But it has a 10-second cooldown, so you cannot upkeep stability that easily anymore. But you get some endurance in air, you get some healing in water, and you get some might, which is not that crazy, in fire. So is that worth it over the boon trade? You know, that's the question. That is the big question. We have to try it, to be honest. I feel like the healing and the endurance can be good. The might is almost useless because it's just 3 stacks and it's on a 10-second cooldown, so it doesn't really provide that much value. I don't know. It seems like, and the part here is that you gain this bonus when you finish a combo, yeah? So that means that you cannot get that with your signets anymore. So it's like the Signet Catalyst got like quite, I would say, quite a nerf with this. I don't know, we have to try it, but I personally think that's an interesting rework because it was a strong trait. Now it's also a decent trait, it's just not as strong on specific builds as before anymore, because like spamming auras doesn't help you that much anymore because you need to do the combo actually. Interesting, yeah, interesting, very interesting. Yeah, we will see. What about the traits? So we went fire and we went earth for the Signet Catalyst, and I think strength of stone, and auras, yes, and that, I think there we go already, and then we go for full celestial, I guess, just playing a Signet Catalyst. See how it goes. And then of course Astral Ward Relic, I really like that one. If you play with Signets, of course, because you get a Condi Cleanse and some resistance every second time you use a Signet, that's good. Then full Celestial, and then we go Scepter and Dagger. You want to have more aggressiveness, and we go Celestial, and most importantly we go Doom and Geomancy. That's the most important part about this whole setup, because you want to get more damage from attunement swapping. So this is the setup now. We have a bit of wound duration as well. We are now almost 4 seconds of like stability. When we do a combo in Earth, is that worth it? I don't know. It's so unreliable in a way, because you have to be in Earth to get stability. So it's like you have one stun break and one stability application skill. I don't know. That seems very weak. It seems very weak. Yeah. Exactly, Snowbleach. Exactly. I had always dreaming about the upcoming MMOs. Yes, exactly. That are my dreams. I mean, as if you had known. Yeah, it's crazy. Those of you who want to participate need to go to Twitch and type there. Yes, if you're on YouTube, if you want to participate in the gem giveaway right now, then you have to go to Twitch and type !enter. But if you want to stay on YouTube, completely fine. I will do a YouTube giveaway from the gems as well, just a bit later. I just want to mix it up and not do everything all at once. So if you want it, you can participate in all of them at once. But yes, I will do gem giveaways multiple times this stream. And of course, if you want to participate in the legendary giveaway because of reaching the 20,000 subscribers, you can also do so and find it in the description of the YouTube stream, or type !giveaway in the Twitch chat. Is the idea behind female Asura in PvP the hitbox? So that was originally the idea. Back in the very old days, that was the idea, correct. However, in modern days, there is this setting, let me scroll down, where is it here? Standard enemy models. And this makes it so that in World vs. World and in PvP, your enemies, if you have that enabled, will always look like human characters with the same skins. So you don't have a size difference anymore. So if enemies have that enabled, it doesn't matter. So you can play Asura or Char, it's always the same size. But if they don't, Asura still are, so to say, a bit harder to dodge the attacks because they have smaller hitboxes or smaller animations, and then it's harder to dodge the attacks. Yeah. But it's just old school, and that's why I have it now, because I set it up back then, but it doesn't matter at this point anymore. That's how it is. That is how it is, yeah. But yeah, as usual, if you have any questions, just let me know. And we will also talk a bit about fashion later, because I am completely lost with fashion. I have no clue how my characters should be designed, so maybe you can help me a bit there. And I have some builds that I have some idea how I want to make some fashion look like. So I really hope that you can help me out and give me some kind of like guidance, what kind of skins are good, because I have so many skins unlocked on my account, you know, and I don't even know which ones are somewhat useful to use, you know. I have no clue. It's actually crazy. It's at this point, the irony of itself is so good, having all the legendaries and having most of the skins in the game and not using them. So maybe you can help me there. Welcome. Welcome, Snow. Welcome, welcome. I've been interested in getting into raids. I've done a lot of Fractal CMs, but I don't want to join packs for raids. Are packs generally fine in Guild Wars 2? So I would say if you already play Fractal CMs, then you probably have a way easier time into getting into raids than most players. And first of all, raids are probably easier than Fractal CMs, and a lot of them at least, the normal modes. So if you're into specifically like 10-player content and you just are afraid of raids being somewhat challenging or like not as easy to find groups, I think it's way easier to find groups for raids and clear raids nowadays than finding Fractal CM groups as packs. But of course, if you want to have a really good experience, getting into a static group for raids is obviously always a bit better and a bit safer than going, for example, for pack groups. Thanks a lot, Tomyon. Really appreciate it. Prime, thanks a lot for the support. Hype train, nice. Let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. Yes, so I would say, don't worry if you play Fractal CMs already. Raid CMs or raid normal modes is completely easy. You will not have a big problem at all. Yeah. So packs are completely fine. Just like 2 or 3 fights are a bit annoying on packs, but everything else, not a big problem. Thanks, JDS. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Very nice. What about infusions? You got all? No, infusions, I don't have all of them. I'm not a big infusion enjoyer because infusions right now are character bound, so to say, and that's annoying me. I have so many characters. I have 70 characters, so having one infusion on one character means that I have 69 characters that don't have any infusions. So I don't invest time into infusions. So that might change. That might completely change with the upcoming core feature update with the fashion templates. If infusions, I don't know, but if they are included, I will change my opinion about infusions because then it's more interesting. But right now, no, not a single chance that I will do that. Not a single chance that I will invest like 10k gold for a Chuck exec that I can use on one of my 70 characters. It's really bad. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I really like to be efficient in this game. That's why I have so much account value. But don't worry, you know, if you're somewhat like that plays less efficiently or just has spent less time in the game, you will still have a like crazy high amount of account value. Ooh, I should probably decrease that here. Then don't worry, you know, I just played the game a lot and I played it efficiently while playing it. So it's definitely not something that everybody has, but it's not something that is like not achievable. You can reach that same number very well as well. You just have to be patient and just wait a bit. Yeah, just patient and be efficient somewhat. But it's like just pixels on a screen. I don't want to like boast with it because it's just not, you cannot boast with that either. So it's just like something that I acquired over the course of the year and I want to now make use out of it. After like 12 years of playing this game, I want to slowly change my character's looks to actually not look like garbage. That's something, yeah. Condi Renegade in open world, is it strong? I would say Condi Renegade in open world as a solo build is extremely strong. If you're in a group scenario, typically Condi builds are not my favorite like aspect, because Condi builds in groups are a bit like your damage comes out later than most of the mobs like live, you know? So if your damage ramps up over time and the mob dies after 10 seconds, then your damage is just very bad. So I personally would say it's quite important that you understand that, but Condi Renegade as a solo build is extremely strong, yeah. I streamed like the last 1.5 years already, so it's just maybe you didn't catch my streams, that's it, yeah. How can you even get more character slots? So you can buy them from the gem store, and if you are at the limit, you can get more by purchasing the expansions with the character slots in there. I think there are some of them that have character slots in there, and those are providing you with like an additional character slot that is, so to say, besides the maximum cap. So it's just like your cap is, I think, like 68, 69 or something. And then for each expansion, you can increase this cap if you're already at the cap. Really weird, yeah. I have a naming scheme actually for those 70 characters. Yeah, it's back in the old days, I was a little bit like, I really wanted to have this really nicely set up and have a naming scheme for all of them, but it's really, don't ask me, I don't even remember what it was. So yeah, we had it like set up, I had it set up, but I don't know, I don't remember it. What's your top 3 DPS builds for PvE among the light armor classes? I would say for difficult bosses, Power Virtuoso is awesome. For like if you want to be a very skilled DPS player, I think like probably Condition Mirage is awesome. It has very high benchmarks numbers. And the last one that I really like to play as a condition or as a DPS in general is probably, it's the last one. I would say it's a bit hard, a bit harder to come up. I would say Power Harbinger right now seems to be very good as well. Power or Condition Harbinger, one of those two. Yeah, that would be my choices, to be honest. Because light armor classes, you can also play Viva, which is awesome, but it's like somewhat similar to Mirage. Yeah, but it depends heavily who you asked. That's my opinion there, yeah. Where would I find a static group? You can go into Discord servers. So Discord servers is typically the way to do it. Or of course, if you're looking at, for example, the raid LFG, you often find guilds recruiting, or like you see here, for example, Lucky Noobs are recruiting, so you can find guilds there and they have static groups then. But in general, I would say the best way to doing that is going to Discord servers like Raid Training Initiative, like Crossroads Inn, and looking for specifically statics there. Or other, for example, in Snowcross, you can also ask there. It's like you have to be outside of the game. In the game, you can ask in the Lion's Arch Airdrome in the map, but you have to be lucky that someone that is currently looking for a static has to be on your map to find it. So that's the way I would do it, Discords. Just discovered Relic of Securus and made a really fun open world Guardian core build. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. No, don't worry. I mean, it's completely fine. If you didn't know, that's fine. But yeah, the Relic of Securus is awesome. It's just a really good, like, relic. My Condi Conduit is this strong, but yes, people think I'm doing low DPS, and it's just, yeah, I mean, Condi Conduit, people think it's low DPS, but you still reach 50k DPS as a Condi Conduit, so yeah, not weak at all. Ooh, we have a fight, Let's see how it goes. just spamming my attacks and see how it goes here. This is so to say the old like specialized elements healing locked evoker. Let's see how it works here. I think we are losing the fight. And still, my heals is still quite good, I have to be honest. But oh my god, okay, they got us. Yeah, they were definitely better, or more people, or both. That's it. Yeah. Syrma 1, Syrma 2. that would be a decent way of naming it, but it's also a little bit boring. I like to have it's an RPG, so I like to have a little bit of an RPG naming system as well. Yeah. Hardest choice is the day. It's which character to play. Exactly, Mike. I'm with you there. I never know what is the best character to play right now. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm looking for a group. And if the group is looking for a specific role, then I will fill that role and will have a better decision-making process then. Because then I have only a couple characters that I can play. That's how I do it. Welcome, Bakkai. Is Spear Weaver viable for PvE after the patch? If you want to have the highest damage numbers, I would say it's still not viable, because I think the benchmark is something like 37k or something, if I can remember it, maximum. It's not that high. For DPS, that's quite low. So I would say you can play it in open world if you want to have a lot of cleave and have some fun, but it's not. I wouldn't recommend it for a DPS build that is like just focused on dealing damage and keeping up with the current maximum amount of damage specs. Yeah, so I would say Spear Weaver needs more help. In general, Weaver is in a weird spot. Yeah, Conduit is like absolutely broken. Conduit can be played power or Condi, and both of them are extremely strong in all game modes. So I would say Conduit is like right now probably the best Visions of Eternity specs across the board. Maybe with the exception of Luminary, even after the nerfs. But it's still extremely strong. Extremely strong. So if you want to play Spear, I think like Catalyst is probably the best option right now. Spear Catalyst and Spear Evoker both have way higher numbers than, for example, Weaver does. So I would say that's the way to do it. I personally would say in a lot of cases it's better to play Catalyst, because Catalyst has a bit better burst potential than Evoker. But both of them are doable. Doable, but not like the highest number either. I think they reach like over 40k with it, but it's, again, if you have current damage numbers of 45k. Let's see how it goes now. 45k, then it's a bit harder to justify that. So, okay, let's see what this is. Now we get stability with the trade. Okay, maybe we are like 2v2ing them. That's good. I mean, the stability is just too short. I think it's not worth it anymore. I really think it's not worth it to trade anymore. I think that's too weak. Like 3.5 seconds of stability, it's too weak. I think it's better to go for like either this trade is really fun to get insane amount of stats, or going for more boons. I think the boons is probably the way to do it. Getting like insane amount of boons seems fun to me. The thing is, you need a lot of boon duration to make that actually useful. It's very interesting. It's actually making this build a bit more like you have to think about the stats quite hard. I'm from Germany. Crystal. Yeah, exactly. 37k DPS is considered low these days. It's crazy how the DPS numbers changed and evolved over the years. Even though we didn't get a stat increase, didn't get a level cap increase, the amount of damage DPS builds are expected to do is so much higher than before. It's crazy. Yeah, Loopy, welcome. It's a nice stream and I'm doing good. Welcome, Wolf. Welcome. Yes, Condi Chrono is completely viable for fractals, the Condi fractals. Yes, absolutely. So now I think it's time to pull the gem giveaway, the first one. So important part here is I give you, let's say, 2 more minutes to enter the gem giveaway. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. ! Enter in the Twitch chat. I will do a giveaway for the YouTube viewers as well, so don't worry too much. You can also win gems later. The important part is you have to be on Twitch, type ! Enter, and be a follower. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. So just giving a bit more back to bit chances, at least higher chances for subscribers. Important part here is that if you are a stream viewer and you win, or if you're Steam player. Thanks, Soundbot and Shoy. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the Prime. if you are a Steam player, that's the important part. If you are a Steam player, you cannot use gem codes for whatever reason. That is not a problem. You can still enter the giveaway. I will send you the amount of gold instead of the gems then, okay? So that will be probably a little bit less gold. So you will get like, let's check that out. If you are a Steam player, you will get, I don't know, 100. Let's see it how it goes here, like 160. No, that's too much. 120. It's too much. You will get maybe 100 gold. Okay, you will get 100 gold from me instead. Okay, so if you are on Twitch and not entered the giveaway, be sure to do so. And I will answer all the questions that we just got a little bit later as well. Just, let's say 30 more seconds for you to enter. Good luck to everybody. And thanks, Synth. I really appreciate the Prime. Thanks a lot for the support. Hope you're enjoying the stream as well and not only subscribing for the giveaway. But yeah. What's your thought on World vs. World roaming meta after latest patches? I think there was some changes to it, but it's like mostly rather rigid still. It didn't change that much. Thanks, Venno. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the Prime. Let's keep it going, guys. Thanks, Mobatop. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Yeah, I guess you all saved your Primes for this day. Yeah, that's good to hear. I like it. Thanks. Yeah, it's like I stream always on YouTube and Twitch, so you can decide where you want to watch me. But right now, of course, if you want to enter the giveaway, it's probably better to just right now be on Twitch. Thanks a lot, Dark Codex. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Yeah, I mean, it's always quite often the case that people just forget the Prime. I forget it always, like every single time. You know, I forget my Prime all the time. It's just a little bit sad, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Okay, I think it's time. Enough of waiting. I think it's time to draw the winner. Good luck to everybody, and let's see who wins. And the winner is Peepsick. Sorry for butchering your name. Peepsick. There we go. You are here. Perfect. That's what we like. You are here. I will send you the gem code in a whisper so that nobody else can use it. Give me a second. Congrats. 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 And don't worry, I will open another one just in a second. Just give me a bit and then I will open it. There we go. Send. Congrats again. And don't worry, I will do another one. So if you just missed it, not a big problem. Not a big problem. I will do another one. Thanks, Gaming Stave. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Thanks for the support. Okay, let's keep it going. Do another one. Give me a second to set it up. And there we go. Should be back up. Should be back up. You can enter it again. Exclamation mark enter in the Twitch chat. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. You have to be a follower to win. And you don't need to type exclamation mark ticket. It's enter is fine. Both of it works though. You can only enter once, so if you spam it, it doesn't matter. And we will draw the winner, I guess, in a bit. We just did one, so I guess I wait a bit longer. But yeah. And we can go back to maybe changing some fashion, maybe answering some question and stuff. But yeah. I did try World of Warcraft at some point. I played it, I think, like a couple of months ago. I did the tutorial and like the first part of the beginner island or how it's called and stuff like that. I have to be honest, I think World of Warcraft is a good game, but I think you have to get to end game. I think the beginning part of it for me was not convincing. So I would have to invest way more time to get there. And I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm currently in the state to play a lot of World of Warcraft to get to the end game. Because right now you see I make a lot of videos on YouTube, I make a lot of content on Twitch. So it's just a lot of time invested into Guild Wars 2. And making a lot of content for this game means that you just don't have enough time to get to another MMO at a very high level. At least for me that is. So maybe in the future, if you want to see me stream that, then I get more interested in that. But right now it seems like it's just a lot of time and effort put into stuff that I might not even like get value out of from my YouTube channel. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Welcome, Nobs. Welcome, welcome. Yes, see you, Machibara. See you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I think a lot of people actually came into Guild Wars 2 after a long while. Oh my god, we killed each other. Should probably not read chat during a 1-on-1, but I think I might win this one actually. Because the vulnerability is carrying here. I might win this one. Yes, that's the battle the epic battle you all were looking for. Nice, easy peasy. Yeah, started Guild Wars 2 in December and I regretted not quitting long ago. This game is so like perfect. It has solo content, PvP, PvE, world versus world, and yeah, legendary farm. I think Guild Wars 2 is a very underrated game and it has a really big amount of people joining in the last few months. Guild Wars 2 is, as far as I know, in the top 5 of the MMOs now, which is from active players, which is crazy. Of course, it's hard to measure oftentimes, but I think with like using Google's trends and stuff like that, you can figure it somewhat out. I think like top 5 currently, Guild Wars 2, which is really funny because that was not the case before. And now a lot of players from, for example, New World refugees or just World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy players that were like somewhat burned out of their game came to Guild Wars 2 and saw how good it actually is. And I hope they keep that momentum. I really hope. But yeah, just let me know if you have any questions as a new player or returning player. I'm always happy to answer them. Classic is literally a basic game that got released in 2004, different game. Yeah, I know it's about retail. Yeah, I played retail. Yes, that is correct. I did not try Classic. Yes. Maybe PvP, but the rest is healing in World of Warcraft is amazing. I mean, I like healing, so maybe I should get into World of Warcraft then. I think I'm a healing enjoyer, yeah. I tried Classic WoW, and after the Raft launch, I got bored and tried Guild Wars 2 again after stopping our Silver Maze. Yeah, I mean, Guild Wars 2 is like not the game for everybody, and some people need to come back multiple times. For me, that was the same, yeah. My main, Poki, I don't really have a main. I play every single character. I have 70 characters on my account, and that's for a reason. I just cannot decide on a main. I play every single class and every single build. Yeah, exactly. It's Guild Wars 2 doesn't have this gearing treadmill, and that makes it so beautiful. I agree. That was a flawless downstate rotation. Thanks. I appreciate the support there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't say that the other MMOs that are in the top 5 list are bad or better or whatever. Yeah, I'm just saying that this is the active player amount. So I think World of Warcraft, Retail, and Classic are having more players. I think Final Fantasy XIV has more players, and OSRS, so Old School RuneScape. Those 4 games have more active players than Guild Wars 2. And that's really interesting because no other MMO currently on the Western market has more active players. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, welcome, Kate. Welcome. Are PvP dailies the easiest way to complete the Wizard's World? I would say so. For me, that is, yeah. Yeah, just one match every day and you get it done. That's what works very well. Is it possible to solo CC as Heat Chronomancer and Sub Aqua? Yes, it is. You can do that. You just need to really like get everything set up. Yeah, I do that, Wolf, but it's not something that is like for a new player. It might be a bit harder. Yes, it takes a while to understand what the issue is. Yeah. Yeah. When I played World of Warcraft, I enjoyed the early game more than the end game, which I found somewhat chaotic. I have to be honest, I wouldn't judge anything from what I said here completely, like it's just an impression. It's not a complete final judgment. You know, I did not play the game for that long, like a couple of hours at most. So if I would make a final like review or something, I would have to play at least 100 hours to get an impression how it feels. I cannot say World of Warcraft is bad or I don't like it because I just didn't play it long enough. It's just the first impression was for me that it was a bit slow and not that interesting for me to play. Yeah. But I think that I would have the same impression if I would start Guild Wars 2 on a fresh account without knowing anything about the game. I think the beginning of MMOs is typically slow. That's just how it is. Yeah. Was a priest main Holy Shadow full solo farm as a warlock? Yeah, I mean that is cool. I really like this aspect of World of Warcraft that you have so many different ways of playing the game. I think Guild Wars 2 does that as well, but I think World of Warcraft does it even better. And I think that is really interesting. Like, but it's just also a bigger game, I guess. That's how it goes, I guess, if you have more money. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. 5 people, I will run away. Yeah. I think so, yeah. Wolf, after the nerf to CC, I think Chronomancer can still do it. I'm pretty sure about it, because I did it very easily before the patch. It's just about understanding when to use your CC, so with your combined like continuum split, while also using all your utility skills. You know, you have so many good utility skills, you just have to equip them. It's a little bit tight on the timing, but you can do it. I'm pretty sure about it, yeah. Yeah, I'm classic. In classic, I can see people enjoy the early game more, but retail early game is the most boring thing ever. End game is so fun though. Yeah, for me it was like I tried the retail early game, and for me it was boring. So I decided to not push into the end game because I had to push through the boring part. And right now I just don't have the time for that. Maybe that changes. Maybe I stream that, and maybe it gets more interesting if I get like higher in the levels and more in the end game. Sure, but for now it was not that interesting. Yeah. Fashion endgame is not that bad in WoW either. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 and WoW have really good fashion endgame. I think Final Fantasy and those 3 games for fashion are like really good. I like fashions and fashion templates. That's what we want to set up later as well. I want to just, I guess we can do that right now. Then that is quite good in Guild Wars 2. I agree. Yeah. When I tried World of Warcraft, there were so many storylines that end in a strike that no one plays anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't judge there. Imagine your teammates having to use the CC. I mean, I never saw a DPS player ever use any CC. So, yeah, I know the problem, Snowbleach. I know that. Okay, so let's set up look at the character and set up my skins. Look at this. This is how my thief, my specter that I play looks. What is this? I have no clue about my skins. So I want to use, that's the important part. This is my DPS specter. So my Condi DPS specter, and I want some advice from you. If you have any fashion advice, I would be very happy to hear it. So I want to use the Mortrum of Skin set, you know, is it Mortrum of Skins for the weapons, because I really like the Mortrum of like weapon skins. I think they are awesome. They fit very well to a like dark themed like specter thing. So that is something that I want to be using, because it's just really, I feel like I really like the trail animation. I like the attacks. I think it looks very good. I think it might not be the perfect fit for Spectre, but I think it's good enough. Yeah. Yeah, some nature theme, exactly. So I would theme it like nature, some kind of nature shadow, and using like torment and poison, you know, that's the role-playing aspect. I have no clue what kind of colors or skins. Yeah, that's the idea. Press the randomize button. I could do that, but to be honest, like, look at this. This is the outcome. That looks even worse than before. So change something. Yes. Exactly. Use the PvE legendary armor, mainly chest and leggings. How are they called? Is there not like something like glorious or something? Glorious. That is bad. The randomize button makes it even worse. Almost impossible, but it does. Nightmare fractal skins. Those are awesome as well. That is actually, to be honest, that is something that is like the Nightmare fractal skins. I don't even have all of them unlocked. I'm so sorry. I will use the Mortimer ones. I have to buy them. I have the currency and everything. I just don't have I didn't buy it yet because it's not in the wardrobe unlock. Okay, either way. Okay, that's not as bad, but it's also not good. Yeah, the animations on the like this is for me one of the best looking like weapons like in general. This is so clean animations. The trail effect of those legendaries is like so good. It's really one of the best animations, I would say, for in general. Like if you want, also the projectile. Look at the projectile. It's also really nice. I think it's just really good. Yeah. Thanks for your videos. Helped me understand a little easier when I returned last week. Glad to hear that, Stu. Glad to hear that. You're definitely not a fashion player. Exactly. I'm not. Not at all. Black and blue base. Exactly. I have no clue about fashion. I just like typically what I equip for, like, for example, I always equip the same skin here. I equip the Pyre gloves because I think they are really cool. If you dye them, that's just nice. You know, looking, I don't know what kind of color do I need here. Something dark or something. Like if you dye them like this, they have a really nice flow to it. I really like, for example, you can use, I guess, Abyssal Forest or something to make them like look a bit darker. That's how I dye my stuff and how I like it, but I have no clue about which skins and stuff. I just use always the same skin. I did not play Guild Wars 1. I did not do that. In your gold making tier list, you mentioned about Auric Basin Bobble Farm. Can you explain how that works? So in Auric Basin, can I open the map from here? No, I can't, obviously. In Auric Basin, you get bubbles from doing events in a specific week. So it's every 8 weeks, there is a reset, I think, where a specific map bonus is added to every single event. You get a specific bonus on top, and once in those 8 weeks you get bubbles, so just liquid gold. That's why you have to farm it, and you have to farm as many amends as possible in this time. That's how it works. Yeah, exactly, Porky, exactly. Can all Mesmer specializations be DPS? Yes, you can play Chronomancer, you can play Virtuoso, you can play Mirage, and you can play Troubadour as DPS. Chronomancer nowadays is actually one of the best ones of them. It's actually funny because of the rework that we got last week. That's really good. Or this week. Has been playing for 12 years but doesn't know what dice are? Exactly. I have no clue about that. I just have all of them unlocked, but I'm so bad at fashion. You know, it's like I'm a schoolboy about fashion. No one taught me about it yet. Maybe more dark, something with turquoise accent. Yeah. I mean, that would be nice. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, what kind of armor skin is like good? You know, I want something that is like fitting to a nature, but not like looking like a Silvari. You know, for that I have my Silvari characters. So something, a fitting armor skin. What is a fitting armor skin that is like not too over the top? I mean, we could. I'm not sure. That looks too tribal. Welcome, Iseril. Welcome. But to be honest, as Troubadour space, I mean, Chronomancer outshines it. Right now, I agree. Troubadour as a DPS is just weaker than Chronomancer right now. But you can play it. It has like 42, 43k DPS. Yeah, you can play it. You can play it. I mean, that could be okay, to be honest. Something like in that direction. I have no clue what to use. You know, that's why I like. There's so many options, and then in the end, I will just like let the default skin be there, or use an outfit. that's why I need your help. Yeah. I want to make. I don't want to make a copy or something. I want to make something that I like the look of, and if it's like a copy of something, sure, then it's okay. But I don't necessarily want to make a copy of another fantasy character. You know, so I just check for some skins that I like and equip them, and then we color them and go from there. I mean, that's actually not that bad, to be honest. I like that top. It's actually okay. What is the... we just need a lot of colors then for this, because that's obviously way off from the colors. Need definitely something like dark. But if you have any like comments, and if you have any ideas how to make it look better or what to use, I'm always happy to hear that. I think starting with these gloves and weapons, next thing would be to choose the boots. They're very prominent. Good point. Let's go for the boots then. I have also no clue what boots are good. Like some of them are like you have the sandals or something that is almost nothing. And then you have something that is like way over the top where you have like, those are actually not that bad, but some of them are like giga bulky. I don't need that for medium armor character. That's not fitting. Yeah. Glad you like the website. Yeah, glad you like it. Yeah. Yeah, start with one piece that you like and build the rest of it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. What class do you think has simple skills but dynamic strategy in PvP? I would say probably Paragon. Paragon has like very simple skills to use. You just shout and you just heal them. But if you use the mechanics correctly, then you have a lot of agency. I would say Paragon right now. Yeah, I think that's what I would answer there. Yeah, but yeah. And now they get an obnoxious infusion, so the rest won't be visible anyway. To be honest, Vishnu, that you make it like you sound like you wanted to make a joke there, but I did exactly that. So on my Revenant, I got the Abyssal Infusion, or what it's called, which makes your character look like Liandry, you know, just like a blob of shadow. That's I got, and then I could use any skin because you could never see it. That is exactly what I did. I'm a bit ashamed of it now, but that's what I did, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit sad, Soundboard Enjoyer. That's a little bit sad, I agree. Yeah. So, how we do it? My chest on the Spectre is the Thief default. What shows on the character choice and the trousers? Crichton armor, glove, flakes from the Wizard's World. Okay, let's look at this. How are they called? Plague. How are they called? Like, are they called? How is it? How do you write that? And what's the other one called? What you said? Crichton armor. Okay. Right. Okay. It's not bad actually. It's not bad. That's like an old school skin. I actually like this one a bit more. I think I'm quite settled with, or quite happy with the, how is that even called? Elonian Jerkin, I think. I don't know. And what would we do? I don't really like to use like a head or something. I don't think that's necessary, or shoulders, so I will just ignore those, just to make it simpler for me. Just need boots and like the lower three here. That would be good. What can we do here? Something like from the colors here, probably. It has to be something that is like nicely, maybe what is Shadow Abyss is always my go-to option. Shadow Abyss for dark colors. Where is it? There. And just color everything dark. And then we can go from there. And make it look better. You know, put some more accents in there. Because I think like having a base dark color for Thief makes sense. And making something a bit more brighter then, or add some color to it, like a green or like maybe even a darkish blue. Go with the color here of the legendaries or the hair. I think that makes maybe some sense. I have no clue though. So any help is appreciated. Isn't Paragon lacking damage? So if you are looking for Paragon build in competitive modes, I would say Paragon can be played as some kind of bunker rebruiser or as a full support. If you play full DPS, that's not really that worth it right now. So I was recommending that as a support. Sorry for not making that clear. Yeah, support. Luminous, okay. Luminous. They are actually quite glowing. That is maybe not a bad choice. But I think that those things here are a bit too much. I don't know how this is called. What they have, those like glob there. I think that's too much for me for the boots. But maybe the leggings is actually okay. Yeah. I mean, the problem is you have to dye them correctly because they're actually quite like, they are quite bright, even with the dark color there. If you want that chest, then got some sandal-like boots. Nothing that looks like armor. Okay. That might be fair. So there are some quite a decent amount of sandals that you can use like this. For the foot fetishists out there, I guess, like some sandals. I don't know. They all look similar. I guess that is the most like covering one. I don't know. I have no clue. I guess that's the most basic one. Not sure if the leggings are fitting though. That's too much. What do I have now? I really like the Assassin's ones. That is like the most basic ones, like from the armor. I really like those. I think that's one of my most favorite skins in the whole game, like the Assassin leggings. That is for me like very nice. I really like those. I don't know, that actually for me that doesn't look that bad right now. Yeah, you just need a ski mask. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's not what I would equip, but okay. How is it even called? Is it called a ski mask? No, I don't know. How is it called? There are so many of them. Most of them are called masked. That's definitely not how I want to look. Yeah. Welcome, Ayu. Welcome, welcome. Ah, you meant the anniversary boots, okay? Anniversary boots, how they called? I don't know how they are called, so I cannot look for them if I don't know them. Does it take too long to make the Oreen variants, like Motormuff? So one variant takes, if you have the money, it takes like, you can do that in a couple of hours. The thing is, you need the money for it, and you sometimes have to wait for meta events. So sometimes it can be really annoying. For example, the Motormuff one needs to fight Motormuff. So you would typically don't want to do multiple of them a day, because then you have to do multiple Motormuff fights. But if you want to do a single one of them, it takes like, if you rush through it, like 2 hours, 3 hours. You just need money and like a lot of gold. Yeah. Never played PvP World vs. World. How much time I have to invest to get the 5 weekly clovers? Like not that much. It's like probably 2 hours for each game mode maximum. Probably less depending on how fast the matches happen and stuff like that. I would say something around this. World vs. World maybe 3 hours. PvP maybe like 1.5. Something in this. Bit around 2 hours, I would say. Monastery boots? Okay, okay, monastery boots. Yeah, that's true. That looks a bit better. More, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, I like that. I like that. You just need the head piece is like ugly, like absolutely ugly. I need some decent headpiece, because the thing is, if I have like a dark scheme, I probably don't want to see my hair, because the hair is too bright. It doesn't fit this like Motormuff scheme too much. So probably a head piece shown is probably a smart way. I have no clue which one though. Like something like this would be the classic rogue style. Angler head? Yeah, I mean that one is funny, but I'm not sure if the angler head is the way to do it. I don't know. That looks a little bit like out of place. I like it. Yeah. No. Thank you very much for bringing up all those low intensity builds. So much more relaxing to do those strike mission runs without worrying about complex rotations. Glad to help. More to come. More to come. It's really fun to research that. Yeah. Vagabond piece has dyeable hair. Let's see if I have that unlocked. I don't have that one. Vagabond. Some of them I don't have, because I only have the skins that are unlocked in the wardrobe unlocks thing and the legendaries. So if you have a legendary skin, I can use it. Everything else, I'm not sure with the wardrobe, of course. Assassin is a good point. Yeah, I think I actually like the Assassins one. I have to be honest. I think that looks very classic and not too over the top. I like that design, to be honest. Just have to get now the dice correctly. And that's probably a tough one. So how do I dye it? How do we dye it? I think dark is good, but we need some greenish in there to go with the weapons, I would say. Yeah. It's from the Wizard's Vault. Then I should have it, because I have all the skins from the Wizard's Vault. I'm pretty sure I bought all of them when they came out. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's just we don't know the name of it. If we don't have the perfect name, then I might not have it. Then I might not find it. But I have all of the skins always. I don't know. It's a pay-to-win skin. Yeah, might be. You know, sometimes skins are not in the guaranteed wardrobe unlock, and then I don't purchase it from the gem store. Can we have a look at your wardrobe? I want to see check how many skins you miss. Yeah, sure. We can take a look at the wardrobe. So my wardrobe is like decently filled. So look at my light headgear. It's like I have some things missing, sure. So most of them are gem store things, or like this one is from the Hall of Monuments, because I didn't play Guild Wars 1, so I don't have that. But other than that, I have a lot of the skins. Like my wardrobe is quite full. I'm not because I like to use those skins, just I like to collect, you know. So the wardrobe here is quite full, and it goes like obviously for all of the types. So it's quite nice, but there are definitely some skins missing, and I try to get them, but a lot of them are gem store or like are from specific achievements that I just don't have yet. Or this one is really annoying to get from Triple Trouble as a lucky ascended loot drop. Will probably never get all of them anyway, stuff like that. So it's always, there are a lot of skins that are annoying that I still need, yeah. And for weapons, it's somewhat similar. For weapons, I have a decent amount of weapon skins as well. And the things that I'm missing are oftentimes like some specific achievement skins or very annoying lucky drops or gem store skins. That's mostly it. Yeah. Abyssal Forest? Yeah, I think that's a decent... I like that idea. Abyssal Forest. Abyssal Forest. So how would we do that? What would be Abyssal Forest? Like, yeah, oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. So where would we put it though? Is that too... Looks a bit like... That's quite nice, I guess. Interesting. I think the black here is quite good. You just have to see with the boots a bit more. It's interesting, the green aspect doesn't really go like... You see it here in the middle, but in the bottom for the shoes, you can barely make it out, the green. That's maybe too much. You look a little bit like, I don't know, Venom from the Marvel movies or something. Something in this direction. I think like, I don't know, any comments on that? I have no clue. Yeah. Why is the guaranteed wardrobe unlock kept? I have no clue. So the guaranteed wardrobe unlock is like not unlocking every single item. It unlocks like 90% of them or 80% of them, and excluding legendaries, excluding the newest skins, excluding achievement skins, some of them are in there. I don't know why they decided to not unlock everything, but that's just how it is, you know? I mean, it makes sense to not unlock legendaries, but I think unlocking skins that are from the gem store and 2 years old and they just didn't have the time to update it, I think that's weird that it's not in there. But yeah, that's just how it is. I actually think this is not bad. I would say this is not bad. Not bad at all. We have some green like theme going on. Nature-driven Spectre with the Mortimer weapons. I mean, could be worse. Like it was like so much worse when I like looked at this character today in the morning. So this is okay. Yeah. I mean that is quite nice. I like it. Okay, so the trail really fits the hair color. Yeah, I think the trail is like that's the most beautiful skin about this weapon, is that the trail is like so unique. And it fits very well to the hair. That is true. That's a good point. So probably the assassin mask is quite good for that. Yeah, definitely improvement. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I mean, it might not be perfect, but it's an improvement. I mean, it was not that hard though. So yeah, so people asked about the wardrobe unlock. Let me explain it a bit further. But the wardrobe unlock is such a weird item. It really is. So the wardrobe unlock item is like extremely good for players that want to get all the skins in the game, and you can unlock a lot of skins from that. But if I double click it now, it says all eligible, I can show you the chat, all currently eligible wardrobe items unlocked. Future updates may add more. Yeah. The thing is, it doesn't include all of them, obviously. You know, there's still some things missing, and some of them are like just basic skins, you know, like for example, this one is a guild archmage skin. You know, it's just, I think, a guild skin. That's it. Some of the guild skins are in there, not this one. It's just inconsistent, and some of them are extremely old and they're still not in there. So I can understand that some of the legend or all of the legendaries should not unlocked with it. But why are some skins that are just very basic not in there? So I have to go out of the way and find the skins that I don't have in here if I want to get them at some point. I have to go out and in the world and explore and find those skins where they are. A lot of them are like Hall of Monuments or like a very specific achievement, but I could get them, but it would be way easier for me to use my wardrobe unlocks. You know, I have a decent amount of statuettes, which I can purchase a lot of them, and I have like 22 armor unlocks as well. It's annoying that I cannot use them anymore because they just have to update it again. But I guess that's how it goes. Now you automatically do 10% more DPS. I mean, hopefully. Could you explain to me the fractals, please? I've been running them to get Ascended, but I'm not sure how. I know the dailies give a coin, which I can use 10 of to buy Ascended rings, but that's all I know. What do I get for running fractals non-daily? So fractals are an interesting thing in Guild Wars 2. Let me showcase this. Fractals give you always loot for completing them, every single time. But if you do the daily fractals, especially daily tier 4, you get those boxes. And if you open those boxes from the daily fractals here, if you open those boxes, they have a rather high chance of giving you ascended gear, which typically has stats that are not useful for you, but sometimes you have stats that are useful, and ascended gear can always be transferred or changed. So if you have, for example, want to get Berserker gear and you get like Rabbit gear, you can swap that to Berserker stats. That's really nice. So doing the daily fractals is the best way. So daily tier 4 fractals, that's the best way. And if you want to get into like fractals in general, I have a guide on my YouTube channel, and I plan to do a dedicated new updated version, so improved fractal guide as well, because I think fractals are such a cool feature. We need to talk more about them. But in general, fractals, you can also go to the vendor in fractals and not only purchase rings, but you can also purchase other things. So you can also purchase armor pieces and infusions here in this guy. Then you can purchase, where is it? You can purchase all the trinkets here for fractals if you play and like the high-end fractals. You can purchase, where is it? No, it's also the other vendor. Where is this guy? Frackies? Yeah, you can also play Frackies, exactly. Yeah, but you can get gear from fractals. The thing is, fractals is like a little bit RNG, of course, if you want to get the best in slot gear. Can't showcase it. But I would recommend playing daily fractals and getting ascended gear via, for example, the random drops there, or crafting it if you really, really need it right now. But it's better to get it from the Wizard's Vault, for example. Yeah, you can get 3 armor pieces per season, and it will reset in a couple of weeks, so that's quite nice. So you get a lot of them here. You can get them from strike missions. So there are a lot of ways to actually get ascended gear nowadays. Yeah, I have a full, dedicated, concise guide about that on my website. You can just type !website on Twitch, or if you're on YouTube, you can just scroll down to the description, and then you will find the ascended gear guide there as well, and it covers every single way to get it, and fractals is one of them. Yes. Welcome, Snowdrop. Welcome, welcome. Is Power Virtuoso still good? So Power Virtuoso is still good. I really like Power Virtuoso. The problem with Power Virtuoso is that it cannot upkeep the damage, for example, with the top DPS builds right now. So if you compete with the burst of a Soul Beast, you cannot upkeep. If you compete with the high-end damage numbers of a Power Conduit, you cannot upkeep. But if you like the safety of Power Virtuoso, because you have inherent distortion, so invulnerability, you have evade with the spear, you have range damage with your blade songs, you have a pull if you go for focus, you have a block if you go for sword. That is just very strong utility baked into the kit, and you can bring CC. So that's why I would say, if you struggle to succeed in a fight because you need to deal with mechanics and you die often, I think Power Virtuoso is by far one of the best builds to play, because it's so flexible and has so much utility in the baseline kit. But if you just want to deal the most amount of damage, Power Virtuoso with its current DPS number is slightly lower than numbers that you can reach, for example, with Power Conduit, which reaches over 50k DPS. So there is a discrepancy there. So if you only play very easy fights, or fights where you know you can get to the benchmark number, then it's better to go for something else. But I would say in 90% of the cases, for most players, going for a safer build that does almost the same amount of damage is the better route, because then you will also survive and be able to pull off that damage. That's my tip there. So that's what I would say here. Is the Condi Conduit any good? I was planning to play this spec. Yeah, Condi Conduit got nerfed, but it's still over 50k DPS. So yes, it is extremely strong still. It has now a different rotation than before. So if you learned it from before, it's now different to play, because you now have a way shorter legend swap cooldown if you use that trait, stuff like that. But it's really good. Yeah. I use your Solar Catalyst build with the hammer. Should I go for Celestial Armor when leveling to a tier 4 Fractals? So Fractals have a rather interesting role composition. In Fractals, you typically want to have one defensive supporter. You want to have 1 offensive supporter and you want to have 3 DPS. So if as soon as you go Celestial Gear, you would be considered the defensive supporter because you provide healing with Celestial stats as well. So if you're playing a Catalyst build, that is rather not perfect for Fractals, yeah? But if you like to stick with Celestial, I would say Tempest is probably the best option because you can still be a healer and provide alacrity while having some DPS with Celestial. Then the offensive supporter always uses, for example, like Viper gear or uses like Berserker gear, and you provide the other boon. So the healer provides alacrity or quickness, and the other boon is provided by the other supporter that is a DPS that also provides a permanent boon to its party. And the last 3 spots are of course DPS, typically power DPS. That's how I would do it. So I would say, hey, it's better to go for either a full DPS like Berserker Catalyst or going for Celestial Tempest. That are my top tips for Elementalists getting into Fractals. Celestial Tempest is good, or Power Catalyst is good, for example. I'm still a newbie. I just arrived at 80. I got ascended exotic gear with nothing on them. I am far from aiming for optimized playstyle. Yeah, I mean, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. Then Condi Conduit is like perfect. It's still a very, very good class. And I mean, 50k DPS speaks for itself, you know. It's crazy high. One of the highest benchmarks in the game. So for newbie, yeah, absolutely good. Firebrand Celestial good for Fractals? Oh yes, it's really good. If you have a decent group and if you know what you're doing, how to play Firebrand, it's extremely strong. One of the best Celestial builds to play in Fractals. Extremely strong, yeah. So let's do some strike missions. Let's do some strike missions and then let's do some more fashion. Just need a bit of a break, you know. I cannot play like Fashion Simulator all the time. With the Power Virtuoso, I'm reaching around 30k DPS. The rotation I'm doing feels also good. I'm using the Spear Greatsword build you showed 7 months ago. Yeah, I mean, the Spear Greatsword build is actually quite nice if you don't like the sword dagger setup, because some people really dislike having a dagger because it's boring or whatever, yeah. So I think going for Greatsword Spear is completely like a very good option as well, yeah. Could you explain how the chests in the Hall of Monuments work? I cannot, because I don't have the Hall of Monuments. I'm not sure what exactly the chests are there. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're really referring to the Hall of Monuments that you get from Guild Wars 1, because then you have to complete some achievements in Guild Wars 1 to get the stuff unlocked in the Hall of Monuments. Yeah. Eye of the North, maybe? Yeah, maybe it's Eye of the North. If you mean Eye of the North, exactly. So how does this chest work? It's one of the most convoluted systems, and I'm pretty sure they will remove it with the core feature update. This chest, sorry for misunderstanding. This chest here is once a week. Every Monday morning it resets. And every time it resets, you have to do it again. Or let's explain it first how it works. You have those 5 like balls floating over it, and those things light up if you completed the specific event. Yeah, so this means here the left one, Forged Steel. This one means anything in the Raven arena, so Bone Skinner and that kind of stuff. Then the Cold Harm is from Cold War, Shiver Peaks Pass, and Whisper of Chormek. And every time you complete it once a week, it lights up. And then you can go to this chest and open it. I cannot do it because I did it this week already. And then you can do and open it with 3 blue prophet shards. No, not shards, blue prophet crystals. Where is it? Here. Blue prophet crystals, which you can get 3 per week from doing weekly strike missions. Yeah. One of them is always weekly. This one, for example, is the priority strike. It gives you, for the first 3 times you complete a priority strike missions a week, 1 blue prophet crystal. You need 3 of them. You can also open it with less, but then you get less loot. So I would recommend opening it with 3 blue prophet crystals. If you don't have them at a week, you can also go to this vendor and trade some of the crystals. Where is it? For the blue prophet crystal as well. So you can trade 20 blue prophet shards for 1 prophet crystal. It's very overloaded, convoluted, this system. But 1 second. But yeah, so if you have 3 blue prophet crystals and all those 5 hums, then you get the most amount of loot. You don't have to have all of them. You can open the chest like I do, typically with 3 hums only. You get less loot then, but you get really good like loot nonetheless. It's just better if you get all of them. And you can also open with only 1 blue profit crystal, but then you also get less loot. So I would say get at least 3 of both. That's what I would recommend. And you can carry over, that's the last thing about the chest, carry over the lighting. So if it's on or off the orb from 1 week to the other. So I currently have opened the chest already, but I already have for the next week the 3 echoes or whatever it's called lit up. So that means that it is something that I don't have to do next week. I can instantly on Monday morning, I can instantly open it if I wanted to without having to relight them. It's not that important because I do them every day anyway, but if you just do them once a week, you should take care of that you don't open the chests with like none of them lit up and then you do them afterwards. That would be a bit annoying. So I hope that makes sense. So the giveaway, they have a giveaway currently ongoing for gems on Twitch, ! Enter to enter. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. We will draw the winner after this strike mission run. And you will have the chance of getting 400 gems. Subscriber get 5 times the luck. We will also do a giveaway on YouTube just after this one. We will also do that one. And we currently also have a legendary giveaway going on YouTube. So if you want to enter that one, type ! Giveaway in the Twitch chat. Yeah, it's a really weird system, Chili Puff, and I hope I explained it somewhat reasonably well because it's just a bit annoying. It really is. So I'm apparently Alacrity Heal. So let's play some Alacrity Heal, I guess. There we go. But yeah, if you have any question or if I missed any question, just ask again. I'm always happy to answer the question. Sometimes I just don't see it in time. So just ask again. Yeah. So what is this here? Exactly. Kick W. Very convoluted. Exactly. Okay, so what do I have here? I'm the healer. Let's double check if I have the traits on, the correct ones. Looks good to me. And we don't need CC for this ever, so we will take stability and even more stability. Looks good. So, that's the only thing I don't really fancy in Guild Wars 2. So many convoluted systems to get things, gears. Yeah, I think that is... The problem is, for me as a veteran, I understand those systems and it's not as a big of a deal anymore. But, thanks by the way for joining Snowdrop. The thing is, I personally think they should make it easier to understand for new players and make the systems like less convoluted. And I think, to be honest, they are trying to do so at this point. But it's very hard to make a lot of the systems, for example, dungeons, fractals, raids, they all have a specific loot system. And to make them more easy to understand, they have to either merge them, what they are trying with strike missions and raids, or make less currency or whatever. But at the same time, they would need a lot of resources put into it, for example, into dungeons and stuff like that. And not that many people playing them. So the question is it worth for them to actually put that much in? I would say it's one of the big problems with Guild Wars 2 is the currency bloat, but I think they are now improving at that. Maybe some people would argue it's too late, but I personally think at least they are improving now. Yeah. I saw it, Snowdrop. I just saw it, yes. How do you get CC with Willbender? Willbender doesn't have that good CC. You can swap in, for example, your Sanctuary, or you can swap in Bane Signet. Those two are probably the best options for you in terms of like CC. But as a Willbender, you can also use the Elite skill. So I don't have that here, obviously, because I'm a Luminary. But if you are playing Willbender, you can also use your Elite skill for some more CC. That works as well. So let's get some boons up, and hopefully that's good enough. But yeah, the stability uptime on this build is awesome. That is the biggest strength of this build, is like just spamming the stability for forever. That's That's very funny. Do you recommend your healing evoker build for beginner world versus world? Yeah, I think it's actually for beginner one of the best builds to play because it doesn't use that many buttons. It's quite easy to understand what you have to do. And it does its job, you know, it's a healer. It's sadly got nerfed quite a bit, I have to be honest. It's not the best healer anymore, but it's a decent healer. Yeah, so if you like healing, then it's a decent option. It's not like, I would say, a top tier meta pick anymore because they just nerfed it too much. But if you like it, the playstyle, and you want to get into world versus world, the meta doesn't really matter for you that much anyway because you just are not the best player yet, which is completely fine. And therefore, I would say for most players, yeah, definitely a good starting point. If you want to play Elementalist as a healer, healing evoker is a good option. Less stressful than healing Catalyst, for example. Yeah, exactly. It's like Snowbleach, you're completely right. I think a lot of MMOs have that issue. Probably all of them. Is Minstrel a good idea for first Ascended set for Fractals? Yes, Minstrel is a good idea if you want to play World vs. World as well. Minstrel in general is a really good stat if you want to be a healer in PvE as well. So if you like the kind of playstyle of being the healer, the tank, then Minstrel is the best option. Yes, very good. How Living World actually work? I don't have any Living World, but still get Iceblood Saga Mastery and experience. Some of them, if you played the game during the time when it released, you got the Living World for free. If you didn't play that, then you can have, depending on what kind of expansions you purchased, you will get the Living Worlds with it as well. Living World is really weird. You can also purchase it in-game, you get experience sometimes even from the stuff that you don't have unlocked. It's just really weird. If you want to have a detailed answer to that, typically the wiki helps you out way more than what I can do because everybody has a different like setup. Some people have like Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns unlocked, but don't have Iceblood Saga. Some people don't have like Heart of Thorns unlocked because they didn't purchase that in the beginning. It's just like it heavily depends on what kind of like purchase you made back in the past. I personally would say don't care too much about it. If you want to get the expansion at any point, then get it. And if you get experience before that, even better. But don't worry too much about it. Is Luminary still good after the nerfs? Yeah, I think so. It's definitely noticeable the nerf, but it's not like a bad pick at all. It's definitely still an S tier pick for me. But yeah, so like I said, after this we will do the giveaway. After this, 3 more strike missions or so like in 10 minutes or something. And !enter to enter. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. And we also have a YouTube follower or YouTube subscriber giveaway going on my YouTube channel. So if you want to enter that, you can have the chance of winning a legendary weapon. Yeah, because we reached 20,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And yeah, good luck to everybody. Returning player here. I'm trying to get into back the habit of daily Fractal CMs as DPS, Harbinger, Soul Beast, but both specs feel super awkward on 95 CM. Which spec would you recommend on that encounter? I like to, for example, I really have great success with Power Virtuoso specifically there, because one of the strengths of Power Virtuoso is that it can be very nice with the distortion and having some CC in the kit. But that's just my personal taste. I would say you can play anything there. I know a lot of people play, for example, Spectre, like as a DPS Spectre, because it is just really good on this specific fight, because it can bring CC, it has a lot of like damage, it has just perfect setup for that. So I think a lot of people play Spectre there. You can also play, like, to be honest, like, this is a very interesting fight because it's not generally considered a Condi fight or a power fight, because both of that is really good. It doesn't have phases, the end fight. It doesn't have any like mechanics where you need to be ranged all the time. So personally, I think it's like a fight that is always not perfect for every class. But I would say personally, oh, we lost someone, that's not good. Personally, I would say Condi Spectre is extremely good. I would say Conduit, Power or Condi is really good. And I don't know, it heavily depends on what kind of group you are in, on what kind of playstyle you have. You know, if your CC is bad, then Spectre is carrying you. If you don't need that much CC, then you can go for, to be honest, every single spec, at least in my opinion. So I can still buy Living World Season 4 Ascended equipment, even if I never buy it. I only ever buy Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns and Soto. So if you have the Living World season, sometimes you might, yeah, you can purchase that stuff if you have all the... So it's really weird. Yes, you can purchase some of that stuff, but if you don't have any of the Living World, Season 4 maps unlocked, you cannot purchase any of the Ascended Amulets from those maps. You need to have one of the maps to actually get use out of Volatile Magic, for example. So one of them is required, but you don't need all of them. That is correct. Yeah, always happy to help. But yeah, just let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, we actually found a player. You know, it's so weird if someone has to leave during a run, and like then we have to do like some strike missions, but not all of them. It's weird. But at least we didn't do the daily, so the person that joins now gets the daily as well. That's good enough, I guess. But yeah. So like 5 more minutes on the giveaway, I would say. Something like that, 5 to 10 more minutes. And then after the run, we will also do a bit more fashion. You know, I have a few more characters that I want to also do some fashion adjustment. Yeah. So hopefully you can help me there as well as the person with the no fashion interest. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I can understand sometimes you have an emergency, you have something that is like coming up and you didn't expect it, and you have to leave the group. That happens. But I think it's a little bit annoying because oftentimes Ice Blue Saga 5 strike missions takes 15 minutes if you're in a fast group, 15 to 20 minutes. So for me, I would say the probability that you have an emergency during this 15 minutes, if you actually know that you have 15 minutes that you just want to do it with your group, your stuff, is quite low. So I think it's just a bit annoying, but it happens. I don't know what happened. Maybe the building is burning down and they have to leave. Who knows? But for me personally, I think it's more more reliable if I just know, okay, the next 15 minutes I can take care of my stuff and don't have to leave my monitor. Yeah, that's. But who knows? Who knows? I don't want to flame anybody. I think that's fine. We got another player, so that's good enough. That's good enough. Which Royal Elite spec is the bestest power DPS for PvE? It's close between Paragon. Sorry, not Paragon. Between Bladezone and Berserker. Power Berserker is extremely strong. It has a lot of power damage. It has a lot of cleave. It's somewhat easy to learn. And then you have Bladezone, which is not as easy to learn, but if you can pull it off, has a little bit higher damage potential. Doesn't mean it's though the best option for you in a lot of cases. So I would personally say for newer players, it's better to go for Power Berserker. That's quite easy. You just spam your F1 skill like off cooldown. That's pretty much it. And if you are someone that likes a challenge and wants to have a bit of a higher payout in most fights, then Bladezone is really good. But Bladezone is not easy. You have to understand the fights, you have to know what you're doing, and only then Bladezone can shine. But those two are extremely strong as DPS picks, as power DPS picks specifically. And the weapons on Berserker would be Axe. Typically, the Axe is the most important one. Axe Greatsword, Axe Mace. There are a lot of different options there. Spear, for example, can also be a decent option. It depends a bit on what kind of specific build you're going for. Berserker always gets high numbers. Right now, I think like the Greatsword version has the highest numbers with Axe. And Bladezone has Axe Pistol as far as I know. No, it's a Sword Pistol, I think. It's definitely always the pistol, and after like the main hand weapon is, I think, sword at this point, but that changes from time to time. So it's not that important for Bladezone because you're most of the time in your Dragon Trigger and Gun Saber anyway. So yeah. Exactly, your DPS on Bladezone is only really good if you know what you're doing and your group is supporting you correctly. You know, it can drop off a cliff if you just miss the one Dragon Trigger, and that feels so painful. So we lost another player. That's actually like a little bit annoying now, but okay. Yeah, exactly. It's completely fine. If the internet connection lags out, that happens. It's just if someone writes, sorry, I have to leave now, then I know it's not the internet connection. You know, it's like it's something else, and it happens. I'm not saying it's like on them, but it can be a bit annoying for the others. Yeah. Yeah, it's Axe Berserker is really a little bit like some kind of old school like warrior fantasy from other MMOs. Absolutely, yeah. One thing to keep in mind: you can't sheath your spec weapon with Bladezone. You can. It's a neat trick, but in Guild Wars 2, you can stow weapons that are kits, for example, like the gun saber. You can stow those, but you cannot weapon stow them with your normal hotkey. You have to interrupt them or stow them with the escape key. So very, very detailed answer, or like in-depth answer. No one knows about that, not that many players. You can stow attacks or weapons that you want to interrupt that don't have a weapon swap with the escape key. So you can interrupt your gun saber attacks with the escape key if you really wanted it to. So tip here for you. Hopefully that's helpful. So that's possible. Should I go get hero points for Berserker? I personally think Berserker for a new player is the way to go. Like Bladezone, yes, might have higher damage potential, but a lot of players struggle to reach this number. So in a lot of cases, it's just straight up the better option to go for the rather safe and easy to play route than forcing something that has potential to have higher DPS, but you just will not reach it as a new player. And Berserker is very easy to learn and get into. So yeah, I would say learn Berserker. Yeah, I'm always happy to help, you know. Always happy to help. Oh, we lost someone. And it's Snow. No, don't die on me here. There we go. Condi Circle is also fun and easy. Yes, but the question was specifically for power build. But yes, correct, of course. Condi Berserker is one of my favorite Condi builds, to be honest. It's just not a lot of people play it for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but I agree. Condi Circle with Longbow is like probably one of the best, probably by far the best Condi build for Warrior if you know how to play it. So yes, I would agree. It's a really strong and fun choice, most importantly. I didn't even think using escape while fighting. Yeah, I think it's very annoying. Like escape key during combat is like a little bit far off from your normal keyboard skills that you use in combat. So yes, I would definitely agree. Escape during combat is not something that you use all the time. But if you really want to store a weapon, that is the way to do it right now. Yeah. Also played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and there's some specific player issue that calls rage quitting. That's not good. That's not good, yeah. I don't like that. I mean, that should not happen in PvE, to be honest. Like, why would you quit, like, rage quit here in Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions? You know, I had a run like 2 weeks ago or something. We 4-personed this boss. Like, we were 4 people left alive in the last 25% because they didn't want to GG and everyone else died because, I don't know, they killed each other with the change or something. Yeah, so rage quitting in this content is like, in my opinion, like, I never saw that happen. It's like, there is no reason for that. It's so easy. It really is. So, no clue. I think it's just that using longbow and melee as a warrior really feels bad. Yeah, not everybody likes that, I agree. It's not for everybody. And you can use it in range as well. It's just not as good, of course, because Guild Wars 2 just is like all about stacking and stacking boons and heals and stuff like that. Yeah. It was seen it's a clear target bind. Yeah, that is true. That would be really cool if you like can do that, but I don't know. Guild Wars 2 doesn't have it, so I'm not sure. Like I said earlier in an earlier stream, I think it's unrealistic to expect some. Oh no, you have the invisible guy. Just damage it. Match it. Just damage it. The classic, you know. This is the most buggy fight in the whole of, like, there is not a more buggy fight in Guild Wars 2 than this fight. It's awesome. It's like you know, playing this fight, I play it every single day almost, and there is like a chance of like 20% that it bugs out, I would say. That's the only fight that is this buggy. This is crazy. Like we can cleave it down. It's still there, you know. It's still there. It should just need to cleave it. I need like 10 minutes for that, or we just reset, I guess. Okay, I guess reset. Yeah. Do subscribers have better chances winning the giveaway? Yes, Phoebe, yes. You have 5 times higher chances of winning the giveaway if you are a subscriber on Twitch. Yes, that is correct. Just give a little bit higher chances, not too much, just a little bit so that you get rewarded. Yes, subscribers have a higher chance, but I can of course not guarantee that you win. Might still be that someone that is lucky wins and is not a subscriber. So thanks Phoebe for the Prime, really appreciate it. Hope you're not doing it only for the giveaway. Snowdrop with the anti-gravity DPS, I see it. Very good, very good. Always wondered, do the yellow arrows, green fields in the strike mission and in similar encounters indicate a safe zone? So yellow arrows mean typically that you have to move somewhere, you know, move out. If you have a yellow circle, you should not stand on top of each other. If you have a green circle, you should stack on top of each other. That is typically what in Guild Wars 2 the telegraphing means. Yellow means careful, move away. Green means stack on top of each other. That is typically what you want. Yeah, that is what it means. There are some exceptions to this because Guild Wars 2 is very inconsistent, but yeah, that is the typical classic rule. Yellow, orange means bad, should move away from. Green, like this is for example, a move away from each other part. And if you want to just like see the green one, that will happen in a second as well. That's the green one with the arrows. That means everybody in this green zone. That is like, so to say, stack on top of each other. Yes. Well, the clicking on the ground to detarget is what I do now to deselect. Yeah, that is typically what players do. There is no real clear target option in Guild Wars 2, and the detargeting with just clicking on the ground is obviously working out for most players, so they don't really have the need for a specific keybind for that, but I can see that this is a bit annoying. Yeah, I can understand that. If it says you failed to enter, it means that you're already in. The bot is not smart. I'm sorry, I'll try to delete this, but the bot is so stupid and it always says that you already have a ticket, but it cannot say that. It has to say too many tickets or something. Yeah. So it says that just because you already entered. Sorry for that, but you're already in then. So hopefully we will kill this boss and then we can, I think the last one is Bone Skinner. So this one is the CC. So to avoid the bugs on this boss, at least 95% of them, is to not CC the boss below 30%. So there might be a break bar coming up at 30%. If you skip this specific break bar, it is very, very unlikely to bug out. It's just, I'm just one of the 10 players here, so oftentimes you have like players still CCing and you will still get the bug. That's why we got it in the first place here. Thanks a lot for the gifted subs. Really appreciate it, Eugene. Really nice. Thanks a lot. Thanks very much, and thank him or them for the gifted subs if you got one. So higher chance of winning. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Best way to level up in between main missions, like I'm 55 to need to get to 60. What's the best way approaching this? I would say exploring the core tier map, doing some events there, having just some fun. And you like doing meta events, whatever. When you come across other people, play with them, kill some mobs with them. You know, just take it as an exploration. You do the first level 80 journey only once, so try to take it slowly and try to just have fun with. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage. You want to like just explore the map. That gives a lot of like experience, and especially if you do the events that you encountered during that as well, you get a lot of experience and you will level in no time. And if you want to get the Legendary Generation 1 weapon anyway, then you will get the Gift of Mastery, or Gift of Exploration rather, that you get from exploring the core tier map. You need that for the Legendary, so you will get that anyway from exploring on your first character, first playthrough anyway. So that's my tip there. Map completion, exactly. Yeah. Thoughts on bringing back older instabilities, like enemies steal boons or boons had negative effects since their boon vomit? I think that is, I like that. I think if you don't make it too annoying, I think it's really good. Like making it annoying is like extremely annoying, it's not good, but making it just a bit annoying, I think that is quite nice. Yeah, I personally would really like to have some instabilities that interact with boons in a negative way, so that you are a little bit like, you have to think about it, yeah? Or like, for example, apply a bit more conditions. We have something like that, but make it a bit more interesting and use the combats mechanic. I don't like mechanics where you are forced, for example, to I don't know, have permanent stability. I think that's a bit boring. I want something that actually uses some kind of brain power that you have to like understand, okay, now we have to cleanse this condition, or maybe resistance is really good in this specific instability, something like that. I think that is more interesting. So I would definitely agree with you. That seems like I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I tried to heal, but I'm in the other subgroup, so I cannot like provide healing to you that much if my people also get damaged. That's the problem of the subgroup like things, you know. Especially in this fight here, one person healing is good enough in a lot of cases. But the problem is if you have 10 people stacked on top of each other, I just cannot heal them, the others. I just can't. So let's get the CC going. Yeah, we got it. Very good. That's already probably a win, you know. That's good. That's good. What kind of torture method do they use in Hell for Skyscale Leeches? I don't know. I don't know it, but Skyscale Leeches is like for me one of the worst things in like general leeching in Guild Wars 2. It doesn't, at least for me, I don't see it that often, or at least for the content that I'm doing. But yeah, I think like leeching in Guild Wars 2 is so toxic in any game. I really, really dislike it. Like whenever I'm like AFK for longer than like 5 minutes, I leave the map. Even in PvE, because I think leeching is just so like toxic to the community. Not that it like really hurts a lot of times the others, but it's just if everybody does that, we will never get any progress. It's just, I don't know. It's just really bad. So yeah, I mean the stability uptime on this boss is obviously not that important, but yeah. Hope Guild Wars 3 will be like a little like Guild Wars 2 and a little like Guild Wars 1 with rows and real tanks. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope it will be a good game and takes hopefully the best parts of Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 and brings them together. That would be my biggest hope, yeah. But who knows? Who knows? ArenaNet is like known for making like really interesting new concepts. So maybe they come up with something crazy good new as well. Who knows? Okay, I think that was the last fight, I'm pretty sure. Now we can draw the giveaway winner. Exclamation mark enter to have a chance of winning. On Twitch chat, you have to be a Twitch follower to win. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. 1 more minute until I pull. What do you think is the most fun meta right now? It's really hard to say. I would say the meta is right now is quite fun, but it could be better at some point. Especially in PvP, I'm not the biggest fan of the meta right now. It's too focused on Visions of Eternity spec. Yeah, big antiquary value. I saw. What is leeching in MMOs? That means that you, for example, have a meta event with 50 people, and 49 of those people are doing the event as like intended, and one person is just standing AFK and providing, for example, boons or something, and gets all the loot anyway. That is like really annoying. That is the thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there, Eugene. That would be annoying. That is true. Exactly, like sitting on a sky scale, providing boons on a herald or something like that, just being there and getting loot for not doing anything because all the others are doing it. That's leeching, and that's very toxic in my opinion, because if everybody would do that, the game would be not rewarding anybody, and it is just generally like you abuse other players. And I think that's just from a mindset perspective, I really dislike this. Like really, I never do it, and whenever I see somebody, I have like not nice feelings towards them, like to say it like that. But yeah, I think it's time to pull the winner. Good luck to everybody. And yeah, I don't see it that often anymore as well. I think it's not that common anymore. So let's pull the winner. Good luck, and see who the winner is. And the winner this time is Snowbleach. Congrats. Not rigged, by the way. Good job. Big, yes, you got it. Very good. I will whisper you the code. Congrats to you. Don't worry, guys, don't worry. We will give more codes. And like I said earlier, if you're playing on Steam, tell me directly, please. If you're playing on Steam and won the giveaway, Snowbleach, I don't know if you play on Steam or not, let me know, because then you cannot use the code. So you will just have a worthless like number thing. So tell me, then I will send you gold instead. So if that's the case, please let me know. And yes, exactly, bonk. Exactly. Yeah, congrats. And if not, then I can send you the... That's good. Yeah, because it's really weird. I always have to ask that if you are a Twitch Steam player, because I just cannot provide you the code. It just doesn't work there. It just doesn't work there. And that's crazy, but apparently they cannot fix that. So yeah, that's how it goes, I guess. Okay, so I wanted to set up like heal Paragon. That's the next character. I play a decent amount of Paragon, so I wanted to set up the look of it. That's the next one what I want to do. Why can't you just log into your Steam account on ArenaNet and use it there? I think the thing is that you, if the thing is to redeem your code, I'm pretty sure you have to redeem it in game. Or I'm not sure if you have the option on their website with the accounts thing there. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, because I know that a lot of people said they tried everything and they just didn't find the button or couldn't, or they said something like doesn't work for your account or something. I would be very surprised if they just forgot to do it on the account website. That's just, yeah, sad, but I don't know. That's just how it is, I guess. For group PvE, do you recommend Luminary over Firebrand? It depends what kind of role you want to fill. So Firebrand is extremely good in high-end groups. It has a lot of damage as a DPS build. It does a lot of support as a support build. But in like a beginner group, I would say Luminary is just straight up better. And power damage, Firebrand cannot provide power damage. So it's just a Condi build if you play DPS. So I would say for typical players, I would say it's better to go with like Luminary right now. For me personally, that is the more realistic way, and you get better value from that. So let's set it up here again, and there we go. Okay, I mean, soundboard, maybe, I don't know, maybe you have, I don't play on Steam, so I'm just always asking because I don't want to give someone's like a price that they cannot use. So that's why I'm always asking, because someone said they cannot use it. But maybe you're right, maybe they can, they just don't know how. Maybe, who knows? Are strikes easier than raids? I want to get into them, but I don't know how the entry level is on those. Yes, strike missions are typically easier, but in 2 weeks, or like a bit more than 2 weeks, we get an update. And raids and strike missions will be merged anyway, so don't worry too much. Strike missions and raids will become one thing. Yeah, they are easier, and they are, I would say, if you play tier 3 fractals, and if you are through tier 3 and go into tier 4, a lot of strike missions, especially the ones that I just did, they are easier than the tier 4 fractals a lot of times. Yeah. Is BR Marches alt parking good gold? Yes, it is. I would recommend it. I use that all the time, just having some alt characters there and getting a decent amount of gold. Yeah, it is really like valuable. Over the long run, you get a lot of gold from there. Could also be like, let's be real, it doesn't recognize the Steam account on Reader's website as a real account. I don't know. I really have no clue what the issue is. I just feel it's really sad that they didn't fix it. Maybe it's the technical problem. Maybe they don't want to fix it. I have no clue. I just can tell you, I think there is a problem. Yeah. But aren't raids and strikes are already easy? I would say raids have very easy fights. For example, like Mossad Overseer or something like that. But they have some tough challenges in normal mode for some newer players as well, like Doom CM or like Doom normal mode or Kadim 1. Those are not the easiest fights. I'm not saying they are easy or I'm not saying they are that hard. That's what I mean. But they are also, like, for the typical casual open world player, they are definitely a challenge. So I would personally say strike missions are generally considered quite a bit easier than raids. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a favorite class or main after playing so long? Not really. I play all the classes. I don't like to play a single class all the time, because then I get bored and I will just not enjoy the game anymore. So I play all the classes. Yeah. Okay, so I will now do this fashion for this character, and then we will do a YouTube giveaway, okay, for gems on YouTube. So just that you know, and then later we will do another one for Twitch. So don't worry, 2 more giveaways to go today. And if you want to join, like I said, the legendary giveaway on my YouTube channel, type !giveaway in the Twitch chat and you will find it there as well. Or if you're on YouTube, just scroll down in the description. There is also the link to it. Yes. So, is your solo Willbender video still updated? Yes, it is still updated. The problem is the solo Willbender video is using celestial gear, so greatsword and swords are not really recommended there. You want to have something that provides condi damage, and swords are just not that. So I would recommend pistols, axe, something like that, maybe scepter, but nothing like greatsword or swords, sadly. That's not made for that, sadly. Celestial is not favoring those weapons. Welcome, Saint. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I agree that Guild Wars 2 is not really the game that has a lot of hardcore instance content, or in general, hardcore content. Guild Wars 2 is not really the hardcore game. The audience is just typically very casual. And even the stuff that is considered the end game that is somewhat more challenging, if you did it like 70 times already, then you will have the routine to just do it very easily. But I guess that's the case for everything, you know? Even the most try-hard stuff is in the beginning hard, but if you do it 100 times, I'm pretty sure it's not that hard anymore. That's just how it works. You get better at something and it gets more like easy to do. That's just normal. Yeah. Would you go Celestial for open world Spectre? Ritualist? Ritualist just for fractals and such? I would say Ritualist is really good if you have like if you play with groups and want to be a support in there. In open world, I would say if you're soloing, Celestial is better because you provide some power damage there as well and have some more toughness and stuff. So I personally would say for most players, Celestial in open world is the way to go, and in fractals or in groups, Ritualist can be better, but it depends a bit on what your group is looking for. You know, sometimes you can play a Celestial Heal Spectre as well, which is also awesome, just very underrated. Solo queuing ranked? Exactly. I'm not really sure there, Ice Rebel. I can't tell. Yeah. But okay, so let's look at this character. So this is now, again, I need some fashion help. I need to make this character look like a healer, like a paragon. Yeah. So it's a heal paragon and it should also look like one. So how do I do that? What kind of weapon does make sense there? I have the staff and it is already the spear staff skin. So it's already like you can use that as a, like it could be like the, how's it called? It's like the spear to some extent. I don't know if I like that, but the color scheme fits a little bit the paragon. So what kind of weapon skins would be fitting there? What does make sense? Angel wings? Okay, maybe, yeah, angel wings. How which wings are which wings are good? There are quite a lot of wings for backpacks. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, what would be good? White feather wings. Actually appropriate now though? You like it already? I mean, that's good. Then we just need to change the weapon skins because I don't know if they are fitting that much. Yeah. I'm playing a lot of Condi Reaper. It works well in many types of content. I play Spear Greatsword. Spear is great, but the Greatsword feels slow and applies no chill bleeding. Any alternatives? So, not really. Those two weapons are... You can play Scepter, of course. Scepter like Scepter Dagger or something, and you have really good bleeding damage as well. But the Greatsword does a lot of power damage, and Reaper can deal with power and condition damage at the same time. So that's why this is the typical meta build. So I would say if you want more range, going for Scepter is probably your alternative. Some gold on the armor? Yeah, we could put some gold on there as well. Yeah. You need wings and the Sanctified armor. Looks good. White and gold. Okay. Let's take a look at Sanctified. Sanctified. Okay. Sanctified. Let's go all in on that, I guess. And let's see. And then I have no clue. And then we put some dice on there. I think like permafrost everything is probably the way to do it. Everything permafrost and then putting some gold aspects in there. That's probably the way to do it. I'd say Vermilion wings, colored gold or silver maybe. Okay, maybe those are better. Let's take a look at them. Yeah, I'm always happy for feedback, you know. Just let me know. Okay, can you color them like that they're not fiery? Because I don't like fiery in Guild Wars 2. It's always looking a bit weird. Oh yes, you can. Okay, it's not fiery anymore. That's good. And then Radiant Brass. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I don't like the... Why do I have this weird helmet? Ah, because is that the outfit? I have to deactivate the outfit. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Actually like the Guild Wars 2 crossover fashion, like Spider-Man. Guild Wars 2 can make really good looks alike. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I'm for this one specifically, I don't really want to go for like another character, just more like something that generally fits this, like the theme. Yeah. This is the way? Nice. Got here, Permafrost. Yeah, I think Permafrost is the best dye in the game. It's just so good. You can everything. It doesn't matter which kind of armor you have, color it in Permafrost and it's actually decent. At least for me. Why everyone uses wings, I don't know. I think Paragon fits wings. It has like the attacks also have wings. So if I use my attacks here, I also get wings. And there, you see I have those wings. So that is somewhat fitting. But who knows? Blue color maybe? Okay. I also have been using Dagger Shield on Heal Chronomance and Status Scepter. Feels way better. Nice. Glad I could convince you. That's good. Gold wings look more appropriate in my all the skills display gold wings. Okay, nah, that's a valid argument, yeah. I think, do we have a better like color instead of like Radiant Brass or something? Maybe Dawn is the way to do it. Like this, like a bit more like, I don't know, bright. Maybe looks that better? Does it more fit? I think now I'm looking a bit like a dragon. I'm not sure if that's what I want, to be honest. The Mandala backpack. I think the Mandala backpack is a little bit like, is that not the one that is like making your FPS like go crazy? I mean, I like that, to be honest. It's not the wings, but it also has a like a, how do we call it, holy style or something. I like that, to be honest. It's not that bad. Yeah, exactly. Phoenix Rising. Exactly. I don't know. That is a Paragon. Yes, that is Paragon. Is Marauder gear a must for World vs. World? I would say it's not a must, but it's close to it. It's one of the best DPS gears that you will use in World vs. World all the time. So I would say it's close to a must, yeah. Celestial White would look better. Okay, Celestial White. Let's take a look at it. Wait, how is it called? It's just Celestial, isn't it? Yeah, Celestial, okay. Does that make that much of a difference? Do you see a big difference there? Oh yeah, it's definitely darker, oh yeah. I'm not sure if that's... Maybe you're right. Maybe that is like, you lose the textures if you go for Permafrost. So maybe that's better. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's better? Yeah, I think the fire looks too dragony. I agree with you, Snowdrop. I think that's too not fitting, you know. I'm not a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm a paragon, yeah. I like the textured look. Yeah, I agree. I think the textures that looks a bit more like the game is not only bright, but also has some resolution in there. I actually agree. I think that might be, in this case, Permafrost might not be as good as Celestial, to be honest. Yeah, let's leave it like that for now. But maybe we make it like half-half. You know, I think the top part looks way better with the textures. I'm not sure if the bottom part needs the textures. I think the bottom part as a whole thing being white is also okay. But who knows? Maybe we have to put on some, exactly like Celestial on the top and the Permafrost on the bottom. Maybe like making some really interesting, like, yeah, something like that you have something. Do you notice that it's not the same color, so does that not matter? I guess it doesn't matter that much. I think that looks maybe even better. I don't know. Permafrost everything? I think the Twitch chat is a bit divided here, to be honest. I don't know. Mistforged weapons would be better. Let's take a look at the weapons then. Yeah. Should have that Mistforged. Okay, yeah. I mean, they have the gold aspect. I think they are little. There might be a... I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. Mistforge. The World versus World. Do you mean the World versus World one? Yeah, those ones. I have to check it out here. It's not bad. It has this white glow. I think that fits. It has this white glow, definitely. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's not that fancy. You could also think about fractal skins, you know, the original fractal skins, or maybe the gold ones. There are also the gold fractal skins. Let's take a look at them. Maybe that's fitting because it has this aspect here with the glow a bit. You can't see it that well though. I don't know. Very hard, very hard. Yeah, I have, you know, I have infinite transmutation charges because effectively I have full legendary gear. So every single time I use a transmutation, it doesn't cost me any transmutation charges, so it will never go down. So I have infinite amounts because I have full legendary gear. It doesn't matter. Can change it forever. Yeah. Yeah, definitely some more gold aspects would be fine. I'm not sure if the fractal one is it though, because the fractal seems a bit too, like, it's too golden. I don't know, maybe it's good. Yeah, I think it looks better like being a light bulb. I agree. Chaos? The Chaos ones are very aggressive, to be honest. I'm not sure if the Chaos ones or Chaos skin is what I would like here, because it's like very bright. I don't know, it fits not badly to my color scheme, but then I think if I go for full white or like crazy bright, radiant look, then I definitely have to put on some golden accents in like my gear or my armor pieces. It would be like if we could dye our weapons like golden or something, or like making some golden like stripes in the Chaos weapons or something, that would change like insane. Like that would be crazy. Yeah. Yes, you can see your healing output in Arc DPS. You can only see your own, or if someone else has a specific plugin installed. It's really annoying, but yes, you can see healing output. Yes. Dye some parts of the gear gold. Okay, let's do that. What kind of like part of the gear should we dye gold though? What should be gold? Like maybe the arm piece here, and maybe like that. Something in this direction. We could also go for like a specific sanctified glove skin. But I actually always like it if there is not that many armor pieces shown, you know? I think oftentimes it's just too much if you have too many. Exactly, some gold things sprinkled. Yeah. Not too much though, maybe that. I actually like the white part here. I think that's not that bad. That's just lazy? Yeah, that's why we don't do it, you know, that's not, I don't want to be lazy here. I want to do it correctly. I want to, the chat should be happy with, and I to some extent as well, should be happy with the design that we came up here. Because I'm so bad with fashion, so I ask you for help here. Yeah. Finished Soto a while ago, but haven't been bothered to grind for Skyscale. Do you think I should do it? I would say Skyscale is a big account upgrade. So if you have some energy to spend on that, I would say yes, it's really worth it. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's not too bad. I actually like this like small accents here, not too bad. But luminous weapons, or how, what do you mean? Are there luminous weapons? Luminous, yeah. That is actually not. We have to take a look at how this looks in game here. It's definitely has this golden flare. It's not bad for sure. I don't like it. I don't like the. I like the skin here. I think that's for me better. I mean, in an ideal world, I would have a white weapon with some gold glow. I'm not sure if that even exists. I have no clue. So Henry, it will come out this weekend. So don't worry too much. If you can't afford the early access to the video, don't worry, it will come out this weekend. Yes, this weekend. Yeah, I'm really bad at like fashion wars. You know, I did not change my character's looks in the last like years. So It's just I need some help there. I guess the luminous ones I like, but if there would be white aspects in there, that would be even better, to be honest. It's not bad. I actually like the atmosphere it gets here. I think it's not bad, yeah. Got my first set of legendary armor. I'm not transmogging anything. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. You know, at some point you get to a point where I have so many legendaries. You know, look at this, that I can equip on my warrior, that I don't like have to use them all the time. So I just use whatever fits, you know. So that's what we are going to do now here. Yeah. What's your favorite class for PvE? I don't really have one. Right now I play a lot of warrior and luminary and conduit, but it swaps around. Like you can see, I can't even name one here. I just swap around all the time. I usually start with the colors and on the weapons and dye the gear accordingly. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I really like this like golden white flare for Paragon. I don't know which kind of weapon would fit that though. Like, is there a weapon that has like white as a baseline with some gold aspects in there? I'm not sure. I don't know. No, that's not it. I think that's also I mean, it has this gold thing, but the glow, I don't know. It's not fitting to a Paragon. It's more like a side. Not good. Not good. I have the Abyssal Fractal Staff, but of course that's not fitting for this one here. No, too dark. No, too icy. I don't know. Not the same color scheme. Yeah, the back piece is very big. I think the black piece is very big. I don't know if there's a better, like, some halo. I mean, there is this like immortal halo skin or something. Where you can go for this halo, and then you could like deactivate the back piece and go for like this setup and be like the holy Paragon instead. Yeah, the Oreen one, I think the color scheme is not perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I think Heal Paragon will be my next class. Is it good? Yes, it's really good. I really like Heal Paragon right now. It's really good. It does a lot of healing, has a lot of utility. It's just good. I like it. It's not perfect for every single piece of content, but for what I'm doing in these cases that I use it, I think it's good. So I don't know. It's too Guardian feeling. I don't know. It doesn't feel that. I think the other one was better. Luminary is a good class to main? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Luminary is awesome actually to main. Because it is just really like flexible. It can fill every single role. It's really good at every single role. I don't know. I definitely would recommend it if you like it. Hey, why did it not change? Right. There we go. Okay, so we're still looking for a good weapon. I think the back piece is okay. We can, I mean, it's actually fitting, but it's just a bit big. What can we do here? What can we do here? Only one with white and yellow that glows I can think of is achievement points one. How is that one called? The achievement points one. Is it like... How is that one called? I have no clue. Achievement point rewards. Where can you see them? Somewhere you can see that. Ah, here. Zenith. Okay. Exactly, Zenith weapons. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if this is like the same color scheme though. I mean, it's looks too magey for me. It's not like the holy vibe. It's more like Earth Mage or something like that. I don't know. What about the Chaos weapon skins? They are too white though? Yeah, I think they are very white. You know, if I could make them a bit like golden sparkles on there, I would instantly take them. But I feel like right now it feels like they are it's too flashy if I go full Chaos skins. It's fitting, you know, the color is like almost the same. That's true, but if it put some gold aspects in there. Azimuth, is that a weapon? I mean, that's actually fitting Paragon, yeah, for sure. I actually like that, to be honest. I liked it. It's a good point from you both. It's actually, I liked it. Is that only a staff skin though? Yeah, sad. I cannot go for the other ones then. It's just the staff. And you cannot dye the other weapons, so I have to be like, find the correct one. That's actually not that bad. White mantle. Just, oh, it doesn't exist. Oh, so sad. There is no Warhome for it though. Welcome, Quaft. Welcome. Like Luminous the best so far, but it's a bit muted. Yeah, I think it looks good, but it could be better. I think it's not perfect for this either. I think there are no perfect weapons. I think Azimuth, I think, seems to be the best one for now. I agree. I really like the staff. Good point there. But the others seem a bit not perfect. What is the fastest way to get spirit shards? Just play the game a lot. Like farming Living World Season 4 maps for meta events and stuff, killing a lot of mobs with all the boosters. That's probably the fastest way. And if Halloween event is up, you can farm the Labyrinth. But the spirit shards, you get a lot of them from playing the game. You just have to play a lot. That's how it works. Can you adjust the color of the back piece to match the weapons? Yes, I can do that. What are the weapons? How do the weapons, what is the color of the weapons? So we need a bit of a less bright one. What is a good yellow that is not as bright? I have no clue. That is actually crazy how better the textures are now way better with this color, but it's still not the same color as the weapon. I think now it's actually Flare seems to be the best one. Sword colors by you. Very good. That's what we want. Good point. I think that's actually the closest I've been with the colors so far. No, that's too much. Holy moly, that looks like I'm burning on the back. I have some kind of radiator on the back or something. It's crazy. Yeah, Matriarch Press. Do I have that? No. Matriarch. Yeah, that looks probably like that's quite dark and fits actually quite well. I think either this one or the Flare one. I think both of them I liked. Either this one. Radiant Gold. I'm good. How are you doing, Chassis? Radiant Gold. Oh yes, that's definitely this similar color. It's very bright though. Oh, I don't know. It's so hard, you know, I can't decide. I can't decide. What would be a good Necromancer build for World vs. World beginner for the upcoming Rush event? If you have all the elite specs, Ritualist is probably the best one right now. A mix of both. You could do mixing, yeah. What would be like... Maybe like that. That it's not glowing too much because I don't want to be a light bulb. I just want to... Yeah, I don't know. I think that's actually a very good idea. I like the mixing. I like that. I think that's actually somewhat the color scheme. I like it. Yeah, I think that's good. We just have to find a Warhorn skin now. I think I have like the staff and I have like, I think also like, I like this. It's not a very fancy mace, but I think it has a rather the white and gold color scheme. I think that's somewhat fitting. Just need a Warhorn skin that is like, maybe I just leave the Luminous one. I think the Luminous one is also somewhat fitting. Maybe someone has a better idea, but I think it's... You should have Oryx on. I don't know if... Is Oryx better? I think Oryx doesn't fit that much to humans. You know, I think it fits extremely well to Char. But to a human, I think Oryx looks almost like a tail that is like out of place. I don't know. That's just my maybe I should try it, but I have to be honest, like it doesn't fit that much to Paragon. Like, is that a Paragon to you? It looks like I have some disease or something, like this character. I don't know. Yeah. Glad you like the stream. Glad you like the stream. Yeah, I mean, I like to make some interesting ideas, and I think that like you like fashion and I need help, so it's a perfect combination, I guess. I don't know. This is not good. I have to be honest. I would rather go with this one. What would you do if you aim for 100 gold daily? I would do daily fractals. I would do daily strike missions, and then I would probably, with the rest of my time, I would probably try to get as many, I don't know, it doesn't really, like, as much daily Wizard's Vault and weekly progress done as possible, and then you will probably have 100 gold a day. Yeah, I think, like, yeah, something like that I would do. Yeah. The Lunar Year gold one? You mean the backpack? Lunar Year gold one. Is that the one? With the moon? Do you mean the moon? Ah, weapon. Okay, I was wondering. Yeah, okay. The weapon. Is there... How is it called? Like, what kind of weapon? Do you mean Lunar? How is it written? I don't know which maybe I don't have that weapon, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that's true. Visions of Eternity mirrors are good for gold farming. Just do, after doing the instances, do stuff that you enjoy doing, because there are so many gold farms, and then you will easily reach 100 gold a day. Yeah. Yeah, I think Oryx is, I wouldn't say it's like generally bad. I just feel like a lot of classes and specifically races make it look bad. I think on char it looks actually really good most of the time. Yeah. Is strike doable with only exotics? Yes. Yes, it is. It doesn't really matter, especially if you get into the game, a full exotic is completely fine. I don't know how it's called though, sadly. I think luminous weapons for now seems for me like one of the most fitting ones. Sadly, I cannot dye it, but I think it's like, I think it fits. I think I like the staff better, but I think it's still, I mean, it's still rather big. Like, I have to admit, it's really big, but I think it's good. It fits the character, and you get the wings on top of that, and then you lose the backpack anyway, I think. So, yeah, there we go. You see the wings, so you don't have the backpack then? I don't know. I think it's fit. It fits, yeah. I'm pretty happy with that one. Yeah. Okay, so it's time. We will do a YouTube giveaway. So if you're on YouTube and didn't fall asleep yet with my Twitch giveaways only, you have now the chance to win gems on YouTube as well. So how does that work? Of course, if you're on Twitch, don't worry, we will start another giveaway soon. For the YouTube viewers though, we will now do a YouTube giveaway on gems as well. The thing is, you have to do a specific quest. I wanted to do a bit of spice up here because I already have a giveaway on YouTube. So I want to reward people that actually know something. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's just a question. I will ask the question, and the first person that gets it correct, yeah, will get the gems. Okay? So on YouTube, if you're on YouTube and listening, hopefully you are listening, you have now the chance to get 400 gems for answering this question that I will now say as the first person. Yeah? It's not hard for people that watch my stream regularly. It's pretty hard for people that never watched my stream. But even today, I mentioned it multiple times. So if you just turned in today, you even have the chance of winning. So the first person to answer this question will get it. Okay? Really important. Are you ready? Hopefully everyone is ready on YouTube. And let's see. You can also... it's not Germany, it's no bleaching. So the question is, how many characters do I have on this account? That's the question. The first person getting the correct number put in the Twitch chat gets the gems. And there we go. We have it already. The first answer, the correct answer is 70. And we have the first person that, at least for me, was Kira. So Kira, congrats. You got it. Let me know your account name. Kira Etsu. Let me know your account name, and then I can send it to you in the game, because I cannot whisper on YouTube. Congrats and good job. You were pretty close. I have 70 characters. To prove the point, I have 70 characters here at the bottom. Yes, you got it correct. You were the first and the fastest person. Let me know your account name. What about second place? Don't worry, you will get more giveaways going. You know, you were second. Yes, there we go. Then I will send you the code. Hopefully, let me know, Kira, if you are a Steam account, let me know ahead of time, because if you have a Steam account and have your Guild Wars 2 account connected to Steam and not via the normal ArenaNet launcher, then I will send you gold instead, okay? So please let me know that ahead of time. If not, I will just send you the code in-game. Okay, you're not on Steam, that's good. Let me quickly not showcase the code, otherwise you might not get the value for it. We'll be right back. Let me quickly do that, because of course it's very important that people don't know the code, yeah, other than the winner. And there we go. Congrats. Has been sent. And with that, we will go back. Here we go. And it should work now again. And we will open the next giveaway. Give me a second. There we go. Now it should work again. Congrats. Congrats. And we have another giveaway for today. So we will draw the winner in 30 minutes, half an hour, something like that. So exclamation mark enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. And if you want to even participate in a legendary giveaway, exclamation mark giveaway. And you will have the chance there as well. Yes, I'm on EU, but I can switch freely because I'm an ArenaNet partner. So right now I'm on EU, yes. So the thing is, people always ask, oh, why do you have 70 characters? So first of all, I have more character slots than I have characters, because I don't know what to do with my characters. That's the main part. And secondly, I use my characters for 2 things. First of all, I use them for specific game modes. So for example, my human female characters I use for PvE exclusively. So I don't have to use my equipment templates for anything else than PvE. Then I have my Asura characters, which I use exclusively in World vs. World. So I don't have to switch characters between, like having, for example, a roaming session, having a Zerg session. I can use the same equipment templates and don't have to use the same elementalist as in PvE, where I might want to be a healer, where I might want to be a solo build. So that gets a little bit like too much. That's why I have multiple characters. But then I also have, for example, staying with elementalist, I also have, for example, my, where is it? Sylvari female, which is also played exclusively in PvP. That's why I have so many characters, and the rest of the characters are just storage characters. Example would be this Char here. I use this guy for storing stuff, like here, Candy Corn. Thanks, Adoran TV. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the Prime. Hope you're enjoying the stream. You have now a higher chance of winning the giveaway. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. So that's the important part here, that I use most of my characters, half of them, for storage. Keep that in mind. So that's the question to that's the answer to the question of why I have so many characters. Yeah. And it's for a new player and even for veterans, you don't have that many. Why would you have that many? It's just for someone that is like completely without any hobby other than Guild Wars 2. Then yes, it might make sense to invest some time and set up like that, but it's not important. Thanks, Sanchez Thone. Really appreciate it. Sanchez the one. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the Prime. Thanks for the support. Hope you're enjoying the stream. And that's just what, in my mindset, I really like to have a sorted account. I like to have stuff being like in place at the correct spot. I like to use my characters in the correct like moment. So when I play PvE, I go to this thief. If I play PvP, I go to the other one. Stuff like that. That's just what I like. And yeah, I really like our 2 looks that we made today. I think they're quite nice. Quite good job there. Thanks, chat, for helping me out there. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Keep it up. That's glad. Very nice to hear. Thanks. Yeah. More to come. I will try to have some really cool content coming up, yeah, in the next few weeks. I'm pretty much looking forward to like some exciting new series that I want to start, multiple actually. So yeah, and we also will do more streams, of course. And if you now enjoy those like fashion related streams, I will do more like that, because as you can see, I have quite a lot of characters to go through. So we will slowly make our way through the best looking ones, and you can help me there. Yes, so let me hydrate for a second. So, no, Ninja, I'm doing right now, I'm playing Guild Wars 2 and making content for it exclusively. We will see if I can keep that up, because right now it's like Guild Wars 2 is quite, let's say, quite active, but the content creation scene is like rather small. So if it stays like that, it's possible to be a full-time content creator for Guild Wars 2, but it needs a lot of effort. You know, it's a full-time job, and I put a lot of effort into that. If it continues with the amount of views and stuff, that's good. But if ArenaNet, if the player base, whatever is happening in the future, I don't know. So we have to see how it goes. For example, we got was it like 4 days ago, we got the blog post, or not blog post, we got the job posting that we have now somewhat confirmed that they are working on another Guild Wars game. And that is maybe positive, maybe negative, depends on who you're asked. And that is something that needs to be taken into account if I can stay full-time content creator. So every single bit of support is appreciated, of course, but I will try to make content for every one of you. So keep that in mind. Is there maximum mastery rank? Yes. The maximum mastery rank right now is 671. So the one that I have is the maximum. However, this will increase with later patches. So right now this is the maximum, but it will go up whenever there is a new patch that brings new masteries. Makes sense. So right now that's the maximum. Yeah, I don't know, Sanchez. I hope that is true. I hope that the confirmation of Guild Wars 3, if there will be an official one somewhat soon, I hope that is the case. And I hope it will help my account and my like just knowledge about the game, and hopefully in general that the game is more like people are more excited about Guild Wars 3 or Guild Wars 2 and everything. I think that is my hope, but I cannot guarantee. I'm not a seer. I cannot predict the future. So that is, who knows, written in the stars, to be honest. Yeah. Are you planning to expand the features on the website? Yes, Snowbleach. I don't want to like tease too much because I have to test it first if it works, but I'm already working on another iteration, so to say, increase of the features of the website to make it not only more quality of life, but also bring features to Guild Wars 2, let's say as a community for the websites that none other website has. I'm not joking that my website is actually useful even for people that don't look for a specific video, but has a really good, useful tool. I will not tease what it is because I'm not sure if I can implement it yet perfectly, but that will be awesome. And I will make a video about it coming hopefully very soon. We will see, but that will be hopefully a big plus. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking of trying to make a channel. Yeah, I mean, Guild Wars is an awesome place to talk about. I think the content creation scene needs more content creators. So if you think about it, do it. We need more of you. Yes. As World of Warcraft is very bad right now, and there's no other good MMO. It looks like pretty much to have a big hype. Games like Guild Wars 2 are scary to some because of over 10 years of content. I think that is a boon and a curse at the same time. You know, a lot of people say, I want to join a game that is like hype and people like it right now. A lot of people play it right now, and Guild Wars 2 is somewhat on the hype train. But if you join an MMO that already has over 10 years of content, you have a lot of stuff to play through, being good because you have a lot of content, but negative because you might just take ages to catch up in terms of knowledge. But Guild Wars 2 is really good in that regard because level 80 you can reach in a couple of hours. And then you have the same power level as everyone else. It's not like you have to play through 10 expansions to get to the power level. That's not the case. And that's really good about Guild Wars 2. But at the same time, for a new MMO, where you say, oh, I can start with everybody and it's really hype, it's really hard for a new MMO to actually have the same amount of content as older MMOs. Because a lot of people expect, if a new MMO launches at this day, to have at least enough content for 2-3 years. But to be honest, that is extremely hard to manage, because if you look at older MMOs, they have content over 12 years, 15 years, something like that. And how can you compete with MMOs like that if you launch a fresh game that has like years of content and you have to launch a game that is good and better, hopefully, than the older games, but also has decent amount of content? Probably not 10 years, but at least a couple of years that keeps you playing. That's crazy. That's really hard to make. So I think there's always a big, problem in this regard. So who knows? Hopefully Anet can pull it off. Yeah. Yes, not really sick, not really. I hope it's a good one. Yes, I hope it's a good one and everybody will like it. Yeah, exactly, New World. New World is a good example. That's one of the reasons, at least, why Guild Wars 2 is so positively with the population right now, is because a lot of New World players are coming to Guild Wars 2 because they're looking for another game, and Guild Wars 2 is not similar to New World, but it's close enough so that some people are interested in Guild Wars 2. That's just, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just what I noticed. Yeah. Especially in my YouTube channel, I noticed a lot of people being interested as new players coming from other games. How did I get into the game? It was actually back in 2013, some kind of history lesson here. I got a recommendation by my friends. They said, my real life friends, try this game out. And I tried it, and I was not really convinced back then. I thought it looked good, but it did not hook me because the beginning was a bit slow and not that exciting. So it was a bit like, not that interesting to me. And then after coming back half a year later, so at early 2014 or something, I actually really liked it and I stuck with it for the next 10-12 years. Yeah, that's how it evolved for me. I think Anet should invest more resources in Guild Wars 2 considering the current MMO landscape, even if they're working on the next game. I think Snowbleach, you're 100% correct. I think it would be the stupidest business decision ever to kill Guild Wars 2 for another MMO or whatever they push out, because they don't even know if it will work. So why would you like make content for a game that you don't know if it works when you already have a game that works? So I think the smartest way would be to do both, make content for both games if possible. Yeah, maybe make Guild Wars 2 on like a little bit of a lower level. Right now, I feel like a lot of the resource development is already in the background. So why not make it so that it continues like that? We get one expansion every 1.5 years, for example. And Guild Wars 3 is run alongside. Why not? I think that is the smartest way. Yeah. Not saying, no, the giveaway is not over. The giveaway is currently still ongoing. ! Enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. It's still ongoing. Yes, I will tell you when it's over. Don't worry. I agree. I think Guild Wars 3 should be run alongside. It feels kind of overwhelming at first, and I think it's the hardest part for me as a new player. Was the reason myself I don't need to do and learn everything right away. Exactly. I think it's for a new player, you should always try to understand what you're doing wrong, but you should not force yourself to understand everything all at once. If you play PvP, if you play fractals, in the beginning, everything seems daunting. So you should just say, okay, I get in, try it, and every time I try it, I will learn a little bit more. And to be honest, I'm still learning something about the game. So just try to have fun while doing so, and you will probably have a good time. Yeah. I would try the new MMO for sure. Like, I'm not sure if it's even an MMO, to be honest. I think Guild Wars 2 is very nice to get into MMOs. It's not a really classic MMO where you have to grind much, where you have to interact with other players. You can, but you don't have to. And I think Guild Wars 3 will be somewhat similar if it ever comes out. I think it's very unlikely to be like a complete copy of Guild Wars 2 or another game. I think it will be using some aspects, but it will be also completely different. Yeah. What about remake Guild Wars 2, how it looks, and call it Guild Wars 3? I think that would be not a smart business decision, because it would kill Guild Wars 2 instantly. If you make just a better game, that's just killing your game instantly. And that is somewhat of a problem, because that leads to you being forced that the new game has to be your only egg in the basket, so to say. So I personally really think it's more likely that they make a game that is a little bit different than Guild Wars 2 so that you have two different audiences to appeal to. That is my prediction. Yeah. PoE and PO2 are still both running. Exactly. That's the goal. Even though I think PoE didn't do a perfect job, I think that's the goal. You should keep both games updated and excited and appeal to a little bit of different audiences. For example, I really like PoE 1. I think PoE 1 is an awesome game. I played it a decent chunk, but I never played PoE 2 for that long. I tried it, and it didn't click with me. It was too slow. It was too like RPG heavy, less action RPG for me. It just didn't click with me. So I personally still like the first game, but I don't like the second game that much. So I think if that's the case for Guild Wars 3, that's perfect. You want to appeal to different audiences. You don't want to steal your own audience. That's just not smart in a business sense. Yeah. I feel that if we get a bad content update for Visions of Eternity, it will harm the game a lot, like what happened with Soto and Chante Wilds. Yeah, I think they are aware of that. I really hope they are aware of that because they now provide with the core feature update. Don't forget, this is a core feature update that is coming with the next update. And I think this one will lay the pace for the next updates because I think this core feature update is very well thought out. And I think they have thought about it quite a long time, with the making it new player friendly, and it's a core feature update. You know, you don't have to have Visions of Eternity to get some of the rewards there or some of the things because it's core feature. You know, you can go into raids and strike missions without having Visions of Eternity, and I think that will stay that way. So that will be very interesting. And I agree, if the patches are good, that's awesome. If the patches are bad, that is definitely a big problem. So I hope for good patches. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, you should not put all your resources in one specific new game that you don't know if it will work. At least that's from me as a gamer, that is my understanding. Maybe someone in marketing, maybe someone in managing has a different idea there, but I personally would not see that as smart. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, it's true that PoE and Diablo are completely different games, and you can make, like, so to say, a second game out of that way easier than you can, for example, for an MMO, 100%. But it's still, in my opinion, something that is like possible. I think ArenaNet is capable of pulling off to make an MMO a second one, a third one after the first Guild Wars. Thanks a lot, Gray. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Hope you're enjoying the stream. You have now a higher chance of winning the gem giveaway. So subscribers get 5 times the luck. Yeah. For me, it's like PoE 1 is cool, PoE 2 is literally the same, just a few changes. Yeah, I know for people that don't have that much like enjoyment out of like PoE 1, I think they are quite similar, but I personally really like the fast-pacedness of PoE 1. That's why I like it so much, and I think that's a little bit missing in PoE 2, but that's maybe just a personal taste. Maybe someone that doesn't mind that likes both of them because the changes are somewhat minuscule, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some people agree with you there, Tassi, that it would be better to make Guild Wars 2, like relaunch it. For example, like Final Fantasy XIV did back in like, I don't know, 2010, 2011 or something, when they relaunched like how is it called? A Realm Reborn. They relaunched this completely, the new game, and they could do that with Guild Wars 2 as well. But I have to be honest, Guild Wars 2 is a good game. There is not a real reason to relaunch it, you know? And it would be a big, so to say, a big bold move to relaunch a game that is already decent or quite good, you know? I like this game. So why would I relaunch a game with possibly not that much like problems in the first place to not get that much profit out of it? You know, making a new game seems to be way more profitable than relaunching an old game. At least for me, you know, maybe you have an argument. I'm not saying that I can't see it. I'm just saying right now I'm not sure what the argument would be. Yeah. Core update, is that written for Guild Wars 2? Yes. Core update coming on February 3rd. So let's check. In 17 days, the core update will come. Yeah, it is a core update. We don't know exactly what is included in there. We just know it will be a raid rework and we will get the fashion templates. I hope for some news before then. But yes, it will be a core feature update and it will not include exclusive Visions of Eternity stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Rattenmob. I think it's definitely something that like grinding gear games did not completely correct. You know, making a second game out of PoE 1 hurt PoE 1. Yeah, I think definitely that is the case. But if you can learn from other studios like this one, I think that is like a smart move. You know, you can make a second game without killing your first or your second, whatever you want to do. If you do it right, I really think so. It just needs to be done right. And I hope ArenaNet knows what they are doing. I really hope so. Yeah, I'm with you there, Dreamer. I'm with you there. I'm only 1 year older than Guild Wars 2. That's impressive. Yeah. I mean, it's just like the game is getting old. That's how it is. There's a lot of untapped potential in Guild Wars 2. I agree. I think you can make 2 games that are really, really good, and both of them can be working really well and hand in hand, in my opinion. Final Fantasy was relaunched because it was giga dog shit. There's literally no reason to relaunch Guild Wars 2 with the same engine. That's just financial suicide. I agree 100%. I think the game is so much better than Final Fantasy at launch was. Like it worlds apart. So I think there is not a single reason to relaunch the game. I think people that are try-harding about this specific argument and say, we want a relaunch, that's more like a personal, like, what they want. It's not necessarily something that they see is logical. It's just something that they want. For example, I know that Darren's makes a lot of Guild Wars 3 content, even though he doesn't know more than others. He makes a lot of content about it. Not saying it's bad, I actually enjoy his videos a lot. The thing is, he is hoping personally for a Guild Wars 2.5, so a relaunch, because he doesn't want to lose his progress, which is a completely fair argument. I'm just saying that is not a necessary argument for ArenaNet. You know, they want to make a financially smart choice. They don't really care about players saying, I don't want that, because that might not be the target audience in the first place. Just saying. I personally see both sides of the coin, absolutely. And I think Darren's has like a very nice view of it because he also has objective views. Just wanted to put it out. I don't want to flame Darren's. Yeah. They need to update the engine of Guild Wars 2 and release a card game in the same world, so they complement, not compete. So we know there is a card game coming to Guild Wars 2 universe. It's not developed by ArenaNet though. It is a card game developed by NCSoft about the Guild Wars universe, and it will come probably out this year. So yes, it will come out, but it has nothing to do with ArenaNet. There is nothing like ArenaNet is not involved in that. They decided later in the development to split into 2 games. Shame they already started changing PoE for the transition. Yeah, like I said, they made some mistakes and you can learn from that. And I think they learned from that as well. It's just something that is a little bit painful, of course, for the players at this point, because they had to be, like, so to say, the scapegoats or the people that are suffering because of it. Yeah, that's just how I see it. I think PoE did a good job of saving it, but it could have been better, for sure. A lot of people would be mad if they have to regrind. I think that's what I meant. I think if you do it smart, you would not make Guild Wars 3, if it ever comes out with that name, the same game as Guild Wars 2. You know, why would you make a game that has all the same stuff with just a little bit of a different look? I think it's way more likely that they make a game that is like using the same like franchise, using a decent amount of like its combat mechanics, of its like maybe even some of the skins and how like the just general like structures and how the world is built and stuff like that. But it is quite different, so that you maybe don't have the same gearing system. Maybe it's not an MMO in the classic sense like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2. Maybe it's more like some MMO light version. Who knows? Just that you have a different audience, and maybe that's the smartest way in my opinion, make some kind of skin and title transition as we have with Guild Wars 1. So in Guild Wars 2 we have titles and stuff that come from the old game. I don't even know where it is, you know? How can I find it? Hall of Monuments, there it is. There are 500 achievement points that you can only get if you played Guild Wars 1, and you get a title for that, or like 10 titles. They are actually quite cool titles. Some of them is like, where is it? God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals or something. Those are cool titles, yeah? This is really, really cool titles. But they could do exactly the same for Guild Wars 3 and just make it so that you can carry over some skins without any effects, just the skin. Maybe carry over some titles or some achievements that you did, but nothing of actual progress, so that the new game is a new start for everybody. That is, in my opinion, the smartest way of doing it. Yeah. What do you think about Teapot's take? He wants the next game to be heavily competitive. He only enjoys PvP these days. I think that is possible, but I think it's not... I would like it, personally, if it's a PvP game, because I like PvP, but I personally think it seems unlikely, because they tried that with Guild Wars 2, and they abandoned it. So did they abandon it because they had the idea of doing it in another game, or did they abandon it because that's just not the audience for it? You know, tell me any PvP-based MMO that is actually doing well after 1 year after its launch. It's barely there. PvP MMOs just don't really exist that well. You know, there are some, don't get me wrong, like EVE Online could be considered that, Black Desert Online could be considered that. There are so many that are somewhat considered like that, but they are not as big as Guild Wars 2 or as big as World of Warcraft, you know? So I'm not sure if the audience is even there for that. So maybe Teapot likes that, and I would not be opposed to that either. Just saying, I'm not sure if ArenaNet thinks that's the smartest way. I agree. I agree with you, Snowbleach. I think making a game that is somewhat stigmatized by having the same name as in Guild Wars 2, which is a positive and a negative image, I think they will probably make a different name. You know, make it so to say a new MMO that is maybe playing in the same world, but is called differently, so that people that are interested in the game are not scared because they think, oh my god, it's an expansion, or like you have to have the other game, it's somewhat the same, and I didn't like it back then, stuff like that. They want to have a fresh start in every possible way. I'm 100% there with you. Yeah. A Mimic sounds kinda ass for a huge MMO policy. It's huge long-term and financial sinkhole. Doesn't even guarantee that it will attract new audiences if they were not interested in Guild Wars 2 in the first place. An alternative that can grow originally alongside their other titles will always be a smarter choice. 100%. I'm with this. Yeah. Good. Perfectly summarized. I agree. You know what will happen? What happened to Wildstar? Yeah, developed for hardcore audience. Yeah, and then it died. Exactly. That's not what you want. You want to have a game that has a clear audience, and it doesn't have to be a hardcore audience. It has to be a broad audience, and it has to be an audience that you might not even have with your other games. That is, in my opinion, the smartest way. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that, like, the thing is, what is the mindset of a PvP MMO player? Like, you play an MMO, but at the same time, you want to be competitive. That is, for me, like somewhat of a contradiction, you know? Playing like a game like CSGO, playing a game like League of Legends, playing a game like Dota. Those games are based on competitive actions, so your skill is the only thing that matters. MMOs are baseline not only based on skill, but they're also based on acquiring better stats, acquiring better gear. So I think there is an inherent contradiction in a statement of a PvP MMO. And I think there is only a very small fraction of gamers that actually enjoys killing others because they have a really high difference in gear, for example, or just bringing it up here. So I personally think the audience is so small that no smart person would say, I make a game only for this audience as big as a triple A game. I think that seems to me unrealistic. Yeah. Not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it seems unrealistic. People like PvP, but they don't like grieving and gang boxes, like Ashes of Creation, for example. Open world PvP focused MMOs always fail. I would not say always, but I tend to agree that right now it seems like they just don't work. Yeah. PvP is very much contingent on the fact you actually have players. That's why these games die so fast. A mainly PvE game like Guild Wars 1 can live forever due to the hero system replacing actual players. Exactly. You know, so you want to have a game that is somewhat smart in its usage of players. So if you start a new game and it's based on that you need to have a lot of players, that might work in the beginning, but as soon as some of them quit, you have a death spiral. And you didn't see that with Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 is still played to this day, especially now with the updates to it. But in an ideal world, they make another game that is not a copy of the other two games and has the same aspect that you can play it forever. And then you have 3 games running in tandem, and everyone should find one that is somewhat reasonable, interesting to them. That is what I would say is possible and quite likely. Yeah, we are definitely peak armchair devs, absolutely. But I think the developers a lot of them started out as armchair devs, you know, and at some point they decided, why not like apply for a job there? And that is something that can work, you know. And then you have some players that actually helpful feedback as well. Let me go in there. Nice, we made it. I think that is not a bad thing, you know. You should not offend developers for doing something that you didn't like, but you can tell them your opinion, and that hopefully will maybe affect things for the better. At least for me, that is something that I always hope for. Yeah. I agree that it would be cool if Guild Wars 3, or however it will be called, if it would have some kind of like open world, or like some aspect that is like world versus world. I think the unique selling point of Guild Wars 2 is world versus world. So I'm a little bit torn if they should include stuff that is really good in Guild Wars 2 in the new game, or if they should say, no, the new game should be something different, and Guild Wars 2 should be good for what it is good for, and Guild Wars 3, or however it's called, should be good for the other thing. No, I will miss it. No. Yeah. So, Snowbleach, to answer your question, if we have to, like, if we have feedback and stuff like that, there is some talk about stuff, but it is not like that we have like crazy like developer feedback and stuff like that. I think ArenaNet listens to our feedback, and we have feedback, yes. And sometimes we have like really good, like especially with the upcoming quarterly patches and stuff, we have really good possibility to talk to them. But when it comes to like game development in general, and like, for example, should they put more effort into world versus world and stuff, we have no way of like help giving their feedback there. That's just not how it works. We can give feedback to patches and stuff like that, but we cannot like really influence their marketing decisions and stuff like that. Yeah. So opinion, yes, but not like big topic opinions like that. And they also obviously don't have to listen. It's just their I don't know, their interest. Yeah. Just wanted to say thanks for the guides in the new website. Glad you like it. More to come. Glad you like it. That's crazy. I just like we just got a follower by Miley Cyrus. I'm so popular. That's crazy. Miley Cyrus followed me. Thanks a lot, Miley Cyrus. Just pointing it out here because I found it really funny that I get so popular. Welcome, iOS. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, as usual, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always happy to answer. And we will now draw also the giveaway winner very soon. So if you haven't entered yet, !enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Subscribers get 5 times the luck. And YouTube viewers will have the chance to win a legendary giveaway, or everyone will have the chance if you want to enter. With yes. New website, yes. The new website is in the description of the streams. So you can scroll down, syrma.cc, really easy to get there. And I have a website, yes. And you can find everything on my YouTube channel. Careful, she's known the flash head breasts. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm famous. I'm just like a dedicated content creator for Guild Wars 2. That's the part, and I'm happy with my growth. I'm happy with it, yeah. But yeah, so if you want to join the legendary giveaway that is also ongoing on my YouTube channel, you can also do so and check it out via !giveaway in the Twitch chat, or just scrolling down again in the YouTube stream description is the link to the video where how to join that one. After new changes to engine patch, do you think they will change it again? Changes felt random or in firearms, and the newest player is hard to choose a class in the middle of all the changes? Yeah, I think the firearms changes, I'm a little bit like, I don't really know what they aimed at. What was the goal there? I personally would say, for me, it did not change that much. And for a new player, if you are interested in Engie, you should be interested after the patch as well. Like, it doesn't like change that much about Engineer for you as a new player specifically. So I personally would say, if you like Engie, go for it. And I personally think the changes are okay. It's not like bad. It's just like weird because I don't know what the goal was, because it was not necessary, the firearms changes specifically. So yeah, I guess that's just how it goes. Sometimes you don't understand the goals of devs. That's okay. In my opinion, unless they are completely recreating the world, anyone should work on updating and reworking the current game. Power creep is a problem. I like taking a tune into Heart of Thorns when I hit 77 and finish the leveling process, because it's actually a little challenging. Yeah, I'm with you there. I made a whole video about the topic, that power creep and general reworks would be necessary. I can tell you the reworks and especially the power creep, a lot of people were really upset about me saying that. The comments were unhinged. You know, I'm already at this point expecting unhinged YouTube comments when I make a discussion video, which is fine. I want to talk about stuff. But I got actively offended for saying that the power creep in this game is a bad thing. I really did. People offended me because I shared my view on this point. You know, it's quite the Guild Wars 2 community is quite casual. And if you make anything and say anything that makes this game look a bit more like tryhard than just pressing auto attack of cooldown, then people get offended by it. And I'm a bit scared that ArenaNet has the same mindset. So I'm not sure if they will ever address power creep, to be honest. World vs. World would be better if they reduce the scale, smaller maps, fewer players. Yes and no. I think it would be better in terms of competitive design, but it would be worse in terms of casual design, casual gameplay. And I think Guild Wars 2 lives a lot from the casuals, so I think it would be a little bit like they would lose some part of their core audience. So I think they will probably never do that. Yeah, exactly, the firearm straight line, exactly. The secret memes no drop, exactly. Won't talk on stream here about it. Yeah, firearm changes were just a nerf to solo power NG builds. I think in general, the firearm straights were nerfs to builds that didn't need nerfs in my opinion. At the same time, they did not really buff that many things that were needing buffs. So I just don't get the changes as like what they were aimed at. You know, for example, Staff, Spear, Weaver, I get the changes, you know, they aimed at making Spear Weaver better. It's not perfect, but it's still better. Stuff like that is clear. Then they made some changes to like Spy trade line on Necromancer to make it more useful on other Necromancers other than Ritualist and make power rich Necromancer better. You could argue that they did not do a good job there, but I personally think it's definitely clear what they aimed to do. For the firearm straight line, I just don't really get what they aimed at. I just don't. I personally think it's like, what was the goal? What did they aim at? And I just asked myself that question over and over, and I just did not come to any conclusion. I don't know. What is power creep? Power creep describes in online games that over the course of time, the game gets better systems, the character, the players get more agency with, so to say, clearing content easier, even though the difficulty of the content did not change. So just the characters get stronger, you have more agency with your healing skills, with your boons, with all that stuff. So for example, comparing, you don't have to look back 10 years, you just have to look like 4 years before Chanter Wilds came out. You had the damage numbers, just one example. The damage numbers for PvE builds were the highest with like 40k, 40 something. And now the highest damage numbers in PvE are over 50k. So even though we didn't get a gear stat increase, item level increase, or any like, even like, how is it called, level increase, so we are still maximum level 80, we still have a crazy increase of 10%, not 10%, 20% even, 20% increase in terms of like how much damage you do. And that's not the only thing. Power creep is also affecting, and in my opinion, that's way more important, affecting healers. Healers have now like every single tool in their kit without the need to swap anything. Yeah, looking at, for example, Luminary, you have a block in your kit, you have CC in your kit, you have like permanent stability in your kit. That is crazy. Previously, if you wanted to have a tank with a block, you had to go for it and actually put that as a weapon there. Now you have that in the kit. That's just power creep. Not saying it's necessarily bad, but it has bad aspects. Yeah. Would you say it's a good idea to go for the PvP legendaries first? Because I'm struggling with it to really start the game. I think personally PvP is actually quite easy to get the legendaries. You just have to play PvP ranked. If you like that, it's a good idea. If you don't, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Syrma.cc, exactly. Welcome, Kobo, welcome. Yeah, Banner Slave, for example. You know, Banner Slave back in the old day had a unique buff with banners. You had a unique buff that provided precision and I think even ferocity and power with the banners. So you used 2 utility skills on 1 class to provide for 10 players a unique buff. That was, so to say, your job. You did some damage then, and in a later iteration of Banner Slave, you also provided quickness to your party. So it was a decent job. but now you just don't have the stat increases anymore, but you have like not this roll anymore, but it's so crazy power grab that even with those stats back then, you did have way less DPS. It's just like the insane, like, you don't have stat increases, but you have agency increases and attack increases, and spears being higher damage baseline than a lot of other weapons. It's just adding up and adding up and adding up. So the game gets progressively easier and the new content gets progressively harder for players that start out the game without all those power creep features. Yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah, Chronomancer CC after the patch is definitely a bit less. Definitely, yes. Do I have to be good at PvP ranked do you need to win a lot? No. For the legendary, you just have to play. You know, if you are not demotivated by losing, you can get the legendary with like essentially losing 90% of your matches. It's possible. So you don't need to win. And the good part is, even if you start out the game, you will queue up most of the times against players that are similar skilled like you. So that should help you. And if you like PvP in games, especially in Guild Wars 2, you get decent reward for it and you will get to the legendary. Yes. Yeah. Heart of Thorns raid were made for 7 to 10k average DPS. You can easily pull 40k DPS now on them. Yeah, exactly. Look at this discrepancy, you know? 4 times the amount of damage for the same balanced boss. Of course it feels way easier, because you can just ignore a lot of the mechanics. Even back in the day, you could ignore Gorseval walls. Now you can ignore them if you 4-man this boss. I'm not joking. So it's like, okay, this is just like definitely a power creep. If you deny that, it's like you are delusional. Absolutely delusional. But yeah, that's just what I'm saying here. That's the only thing that I'm saying here. And you know, the people solo raid bosses nowadays because of the crazy overpowered like feature creep and damage creep, you know. That was back in the old day. You could, for example, solo Veil Guardian or something like that. But in general, I think it's now easier than before. You know, we have seen Kern solos, Lossosaur solos, like we have Matthias solos, we have Veil Guardian solos. There are so many raid bosses nowadays that you can solo as well, just because of the power creep and, of course, players getting better at the game as well. It's crazy, yeah. Yeah, always happy to help. And exactly, it's like soloing raid bosses is not necessarily like, look at Nomixia solos, you know. In my opinion, the best solo player in Guild Wars 2 is without a doubt Nomixia. So shout out to Nomixia if you have not heard of them. Be sure to check out their YouTube channel. They know exactly what they are doing. You know, they make a build specifically for a specific boss, and they kill this boss in a speed run time with no emboldened and get it done without dying. It's crazy. So this is soloing at its prime. This is only possible though because we have crazy feature creep and the new elite specs and the power level and the relics and just what access you have to all your damage and stuff. It just increased over the course of time. That is the reason. Not necessarily because the bosses got easier. The bosses stayed exactly the same. It's just they got easier, relatively speaking, because your power level of the character of your player increased. Yeah. Connie Mechanist and Virtuoso were builds comparably easy to hit 40k. Are there any more builds right now that can do it without extreme effort? I would say a lot of builds can reach that number rather easily now, but I agree, Condi Mechanist, you can also play Power Mechanist that reaches like 39.5k, which is also very easy. What else do we have that is also 40k that is like very easy? Yeah, Virtuoso does it, of course. I think Scourge reaches 40k, not 39k or something. That is also somewhat easy to play. We have low intensity builds that use up to like 0 buttons. They can nowadays also reach up to 35k. So that is like everything like that is like currently it's possible. Yeah, you have a lot of like builds that are easy. I think you named the 2 crazy easiest ones, but yeah. Celestial stats are crazy good for soloing. Absolutely, you know, Celestial stats are just insane at this point. Yeah. Absolutely. Ooh, the damage. Look at the Condi ticks. Poor guy. The Condis tick and tick and tick. Yeah, that's painful. And we have utility creep as well, like permanent stability, H's everywhere, AoE distortion. And then there's external utility creep, like Trigger Tonic and Executioner's X. Exactly, we have so many tools nowadays. If you would have shown me that 10 years ago, I would have called you crazy and would have said this game is like a joke now. Because this is just, you could not imagine that back then, that you had perma stability, perma H's if you wanted to, and stuff like that, or even like have movement tools like the Chuya Pinata Tonic and stuff all the time. Even though the Executioner's X toy actually existed like quite a long time already. Yeah. Now the VOE meta bosses have crazy HP numbers. Exactly. It's just to balance the power creep, you have HP sponges. Looking at like the newest, so to say, instances with like the older strike mission, or then like strike missions from Chance Wilds, but also the meta events from Visions of Eternity, they just have insane amounts of HP. That's it. They have insane amount of HP. They're not difficult, they just take forever because the HP is so high. If you would balance them, like for example a Chuck Garant, this thing would fly within like, would be like gone within like minutes. It's crazy. The HP difference is huge. Yeah. On the other hand, in fights like Zeros CM, the lower benching classes like Scourge and Condi Virtuoso with high uptime have similar DPS numbers in specs with 50k. That is, I think, a very good design. That you have in tough fights, some builds that have less DPS do better because they are safer, they have more utility in their kit, more defenses, and therefore do better like damage and have better uptime. I think that's really good design. But the problem is, this is like in 99% of the cases, you take the 50k benchmark and you will succeed faster. Because it's just, there are not that many hard fights. You know, there is Seros CM and there's Harvest Temple, like LCM, I mean. Yeah, those two, that's it. Nowhere else, and Ura, those three, sorry. Ura as well. So you have 3 try-hard challenge modes, so to say, legendary challenge modes. But all the other fights, there's no reason to go for a build that is like more defensive. That's I think, the issue there, that we have feature creep and that we don't have enough content that actually makes use out of these crazy features. Yeah. Not only is a lot of HP, but Star World meta is really long since you have Big Potato Boss and Big Potato Pre-Boss event. I think it's okay. I agree it's more on the longer side, but looking at metas like, for example, Drizzlewood Coast, which takes 2 hours, or like there are some meta events that take quite a while as well. So I think it's okay. Not every single meta event has to be short. I think there should be a spread between 5 to 90 minutes. I think that is, for me, okay. And if the rewards are adjusted accordingly, I think then everybody is fine. It's just that the Star World meta feels a little bit sluggish because you have this end boss that is okay. I think it's okay. It's not like horrible, but I think it could be a bit more interesting. Yeah. Can you suggest a good power, quickness, DPS for Harvest Temple CM? I think Harbinger is good because you have some ranged DPS. But typically, if you want to Harvest Temple CM, the best DPS is typically some, like, I personally would say Condi Herald is a very safe pick because Condition Quickness Herald it is, because it does a lot of damage and it has utility in its kit. Right now, I would personally say Condition Conduit. Condition Quickness Conduit is like awesome because that's better Quickness Herald. It's just straight up better. I don't know. I think it depends on the group composition. Sometimes your group, it might be struggling with stuff that I did not see coming. So it depends a bit on your group. But I personally would say those would be my recommendations. Is Condi Scotch good for raids? Yes. It's not like necessary in a lot of cases, but if you have it, it's the Condi version. Nice. I fight a Condi tank. Let's see how that one goes. That's annoying, but I think we can deal with it, hopefully. I think we have him. Yes. Barely. Shit. I think he can rally from that. No. I lost. Unlucky. Yeah, that's a problem if you play a build with not enough Condi cleanse. I mean, I would have won would I have won? Maybe with the downstate I wouldn't have won. Fine. Either way. Fair 101. When are the giveaways? I will do the giveaway now. So, exclamation mark enter in the Twitch chat to enter the giveaway. 400 gems. If you're a subscriber, you get 5 times the luck. Last chance. We will draw the winner in 1 minute. Good luck to everybody. If it says failed to enter, it means that you're already in. And yeah, good luck. Good luck. So exactly, if you type ! giveaway, you will see I also have another giveaway running that is on YouTube. It's running for a couple more days. So if you want to join that one, you can check out the link in the ! giveaway command, or if you're on YouTube, you can just scroll down in the stream description to have a chance of winning a legendary weapon in this game. So good luck to everybody, and I think it's time to draw the winner. Let me wait for the tick here and leave. There we go. Good luck to everybody, and we will see. And the winner is Barcy04. Congratulations. Congratulations. Sorry, John. Next time. I will do more streams upcoming this week. So don't worry. More streams coming, and you can join them as well. Let me know if you're on Steam or not. So if you're not on Steam, Guild Wars 2 account, then everything is fine, and I will send you the gems. If not, then if you're on Steam, let me know as well, then I can send you some gold instead. But congrats for winning. And we also don't have to reroll. That's very nice. No rerolls today. Surprising. But yeah, Barcy, let me know. No, not Steam. Perfect. Then I will send you the gem code. Perfect. We had like everything very well set up today. There we go. And with that, I also think we're at the end of today's stream. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Like I said, we have a legendary giveaway there and a lot of cool content, hopefully, for you coming up there as well. Thanks for watching. I wish you all a very nice weekend, and take care and see you around. Thanks for watching.